that was quick. Oh, that's another thing. Wait, what did I just miss? Oh, there we go. It finally worked. It actually notified over on my Discord. Jerks. Yeah, what did I miss on? Wait, are you even here still? It just says one, and I know that I'm watching one. Okay, there. Yeah, you are. But what's that in reference to? Oh, Fortnite. Took me a moment. What's the notification? I just do the no build. I don't really care a bunch about Fortnite. I just do it to play with my brother. I think I have hold on a minute. I technically have two. Yeah, I may as well. 3 heroes. Yeah, I may as well. It'll keep my mind busy. I'll give it a little while longer before I do it. Straight.
Traveling ready for battle.
I know. I haven't begun yet.
Ready for battle. Ready for battle.
I aim to devastate.
So where is it? It's 19, so 3 days ago. It's good that I'm covering it now. Why does it say 0 concurrent viewers? Huh. How to win 70% of the time. Nobody wants a 70% win rate. You think you do, but you really don't. What's this? Wait, what did you write? Played McCree for the first time. Oh, okay, I missed that comment. Okay, my bad. Eh. First time High Noon did something. Ah. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta go really stupid and do something completely unexpected. Yeah, I don't do PC lobbies. I couldn't tell you about the PC version of the game, but other than what I see. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to be getting a lot more people, so I'm just going to do myself a favor and begin doing this and just record it. Who is this one again? Leonardo? Yeah, poor dude's got to start recognizing the coaching is supposed to help with his gameplay and improvement. Haven't been able to actually tell him for certain though, but well. Oh my god. Pichu is dead. Yeah, let me just begin. Alright, so we're doing another VOD review for Shiva 7 fight. Shiva X 7 fight. It was also by the name Leonardo. That's going to be an easier way to remember him. Alright, so it's been a bit since I did coaching. It's also a very off day, so forgive that. I was trying to wait for more people to come around, but it don't matter. Right, so now he's playing Widowmakers, talking about his aim. Unfortunately, I can't do much more about that, but I can at least help out with his gameplay. Help him recognize the need for better positioning, all that other good stuff. Again, it's kind of an off day. Forget the vernacular. Right, so wrong thing. Always got to modify this. Alright. So he's playing Widow. We got like...
Push the...
Okay, so everyone out the door. Let's take a look at that team composition. Dual hit scan. Roadhog is a tank with Kiriko Lucio. It's actually not too terrible on the support side. Tank side can vary depending upon who is countermatch. In this case, it's looking to be Orisa, so he might actually do some decency. I don't know. His other damage, though. I mean, what he's facing up against. Yeah, Lucio Mercy. They have a better support combo with Kiriko. And I'm 90% certain that Orisa's just going to have a pole shoved up her butt. Sojourn Echo is a very good combination on this map, but with dual hit scans, it shouldn't be an issue, especially since they have a lot of good burst capability. So even if it doesn't kill as much as it did before with the Season 9 patch, it should still do pretty good to make them back off and create pressure. So let's just see. Pause that right there. I forgot I had to put on my headphones. That would kind of help. And you know what? I still have my hair drying. I don't want my headphones getting wet. Turn that all the way up. And go to here. Perfect. Okay, good. Taking an off angle. Ah, missed time on that. Yeah, no, you have Echo on your tail. You can get it. Yeah. Shoot. Yeah. So right off the bat, good positioning. You just started with one shot. Not much you could do from that point, quite frankly, the moment you missed it. So a key thing about Widow, she's all about her positioning. She's all about her range. She's all about securing those kills in one shot, one and done. So the moment you draw attention to yourself at any point as Widow, you need to find a way to disengage that pressure and reposition yourself, which is why you also don't waste her abilities. This kind of goes hand in hand with the conversation I wanted to have. So everybody talking about how broken Widow is? No, Widow is one of the more mechanically demanding heroes. She requires enough foresight to know how to position, when to engage, when to disengage, and how to use your abilities properly. So what is the main part of her kit? Her one-shot capability. She's got higher critical accuracy than most. She can eliminate most squishies. Up to about 300 HP, if I recall. They haven't done anything to really adjust her damage, so she should still be able to eliminate heroes like Reaper and Mei. But if they have armor like Bastion, then obviously that falls flat. Even if he was at, I think, 350 now. But what about the rest of her kit makes her dangerous? The short answer is nothing. Her grappling hook can get her better positioning, but ultimately it just follows up with better positioning for what? Her one-shot capability. Her Venom Mine, although it can get some kills, is not meant for it. It's meant as a deterrent. It is meant as a means to reveal location, as well as put on consistent damage that if the pressure should be made back again, you can immediately follow up with that and get an easier time killing because they're under pressure. They hear the ticking down, the going on, and it's like it's on the back of their mind like, oh, I'm getting damaged over time. So her ultimate reveals positions. Very powerful ultimate. Some people say it's a very weak one, then you know nothing. Because to reveal the enemy's position at all times for, 12, 15 seconds? It means that you can't make a play without having it counteracted. Unless your skill can outplay it, in which case that does not happen very often. But, yeah, the one-shot capability, you missed your chance for killing Echo. You should have backed off sooner. And quite frankly, as an escape mechanic, yeah, use your hook. Just use it. Yep. So there was just poor positioning. It wasn't really, obviously, bad missed time on the click. If you had fired just a second sooner while she was in your crosshair, it would have been fine, but...
Turn it up, turn it up! Stop that barricade in its tracks!
So, on this map in particular, if I was to use my grappling hook, I would use it in spawn or immediately coming out of spawn. Because by the time you walk from the moment that you jump down, and maybe you drop, say, at the best, the end of this column right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The cooldown is roughly about 12, 15 seconds. I actually don't remember how much the cooldown was. Half the cooldown's done. You just wasted it right here and got minimal distance. And now you have to wait 11 more seconds. You wasted one of the most important abilities that you could possibly have to position yourself properly or get yourself out of danger or pretty much anything. I wouldn't use don't use the ability willy-nilly. Like other heroes, you could do that. Her abilities are on a long cooldown. You can use your Venom Mine a little bit more often because, honestly, again, it's made for, like, securing your position, deterring people who are weak from approaching you, revealing the position of where they are. So it has multi-uses, but your grappling hook is your lifeline. You have no other source of mobility other than your walking, and let's be 100% frank with each other. Your grappling hook can get you out of a lot of sticky situations, and this is just... That was unfortunately a little bit of a waste. It also looks like they went and swapped off Echo to take care of you, which is weird because Echo actually did a good job against you, and they had no reason to swap off because of you, unless they realized that there's dual hit scan, and unless Ash got the kill on him earlier, I don't know. But, okay, good, you're taking off angle. Yeah, so I see what you mean about your accuracy. I don't know what you changed. You mentioned, let me see. I can do that. Widow set. Reason I asked about my Widow settings. It's atrocious. You can see in the game. Best game you had with her to take into account that can't hit a single headshot. My settings are the same I told you about yesterday. Was that in VOD chat or was that elsewhere? I have no idea where it was. I have to look back on that. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Yeah, what it looked like is that you're struggling to make your moves to get in. You might have too low of a sensitivity. It looks like you're struggling to land the reticle. I could be wrong, but you're able to still get a hold on them after a little bit of adjustment. Good elimination, good position taking, and you got your cooldown back. Nobody's pressing you, so you're in a good position. What I would suggest, though, I want to just quickly touch on this. While you're sneaking up on her right here, learn to crouch spam. And what I mean by that is, if you look at my controls, thankfully I don't need to go to anybody, I have it on crouch and not toggle crouch. So make sure there's a distinction is that toggle crouch will automatically keep you crouched when you hit the button once, versus crouch, which will pick you back up the moment you stop pressing the button. So whatever button scheme you have is up to you. I have it on my right stick so that I can crouch when I'm looking around and it's not too big of an issue. And I can jump with my left stick, so that's just personal preference for me. But the crouching, if you learn to crouch spam, you soften your footsteps and learn to be a little bit more patient in certain circumstances, and this one is the one in question. You're now taking your advanced positioning. I say advanced loosely. And here you are. Now, you don't know if she'll turn and press you, but she has the better kit to take care of you. The fact that she didn't turn to you the moment that you did this, or debatably even that if she was going to pay attention to you at all, she could have probably stopped herself from dying. She was too focused on what she was doing. Oh. So, again, I don't know how aware you are of the enemy team, but something big you have to realize, if you're in a Widow v. Widow situation, your first and foremost target should always be the other Widowmaker, because unlike the rest of their team, Sojourn can obviously be a threat, Mercy and Lucio can approach you and can duel you pretty efficiently, Orisa can press you, all four of them can oppress you, Whether it be just walking up to you or speeding up to you or using an ability to get to you, it does not matter. But there is one consistent danger that is able to match you at range. Another Widowmaker. So take note of the times when you select Widowmaker if the enemy team selects Widowmaker, because now it becomes a matter of whose Widow takes out who first. Because if the enemy Widow takes you out, then they immediately gain solid ground to work with, because they're no longer under the threat of potentially getting one shot. And if you eliminate their Widow, now they have to play cautiously because they have one less thing contesting you unless they want to dive you, which is totally possible too, but you should be near enough to your team to back up and peel pretty efficiently. Hey, what's going on, P. Diddy? So, future note, if you ever get into a Widow situation again and you select Widow, be on a lookout. It doesn't have to be like a consistent lookout, it's just more like along the lines of like, every once in a while hit your back button and make sure that there is no other Widow in the match. And go from there. Okay, we're coming at the spawn again. Okay, you're doing it again? I hate that. Whoa. I have no idea what you turned on. It didn't look like it was too much in control either. Yeah, another thing too about that crouch spam, I'll go back a second. You are playing Widowmaker, notorious for having her heals click, 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 click all around the map. You're going to want to start learning to crouch spam because it'll reduce the amount of clicks that people hear. And even if it doesn't fully dampen them, it'll give you a better strategic position when you're starting to flank the way you are. Good angles, you're proactively looking for the off angle to take.
We're in charge around here.
Dang.
I'm on fire. Hey, catch.
So, that wasn't good. So,
I'm on fire.
maybe you didn't intend to go right here in particular. You probably were intending to go up there. But how do I explain this? So Soldier 76. Everyone talks about the high ground, take the high ground. High ground's important. It is especially important with Widowmaker. To ensure that you make it to your proper position, you need to be a little bit more patient and make sure that you're not going to mess up your hook. If you mess up your hook, you can deal with it. You're going to deal with it right now. You're going to stick with your team. You're going to walk behind the bus, use physical cover, because obviously you're not in the prime position you want to be. So you need to do what you need to do. Nothing that can be helped. Okay. Prime example of what I told you specifically not to do. You're right here, and let's get back into your viewpoint. Look at where you are. You're sort of behind a cover, but they're behind their cover, which is why they're not approaching you and why you're safe to take these shots. You should probably be stepping a little closer to this wall and then using this wall as a means to get back to your team most efficiently right here. You should be making that movement. Don't bother with the scoping. If you're gonna go and still continue to scope, stay right around here, roughly about, because now you still have a clear view of where the bot's going. Anybody that approaches the bot is gonna have to use the bot for cover, so they have literally limited amount of space they could play between. And then when your cooldown comes back, take the high ground so that now you have an even greater vantage point. Now, I just noticed a little bit ago that they swapped off their Widow for Genji and their Sojourn for a Bastion. So it seems that they're going for a cheese combination here, and that Genji is specifically, he was going to go Widow to match you, but has now gone Genji to counter you. It wasn't just to match you anymore. Now he's going to probably do what I think he's going to do, which is dive in front of your face, hit deflect, and then gun you down when you panic. Or he's going to deflect, dash, get in your face, and then eliminate you that way. Either way, it's kind of stupid. It's really, really stupid. Yep, see what I mean? Yeah, he did that intentionally. I hate Genji, bro. That's all he is. He's a one-trick pony now. Sorry to all the Genji mains, but that's exactly what he is. He is just, honest to God, a one-trick pony. Dive in your face and hit deflect. Oh! Good headshot, though. Good elimination.
We need the robot back.
I don't know why your team's still pushing. You're all fractured. Like, unless you're confident that you're going to be able to take the next wave, you shouldn't. Ah! On this time, click. Beelzebub. I love that. Okay. So, let's just go back a step for a second. So, good for you on this one. I wouldn't have used it here. I would have used it to take the high ground. But you're in a good position. You're far enough away that you should be able to avoid Roadhog's hook. And then you get a very good headshot against the elimination on Mercy. Who's that? Who got the elimination? Kiriko? Yeah, Kiriko. So, Roadhog is still trying to take... Roadhog is trying to take out Kiriko. I don't know what happened. What was this hook situation? Did he hit the tree? I think he hit the tree. Oh, that sucks to be him. Yeah, when it's a Widow... Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's Roadhog, Orisa, Mauga, Sigma. It really doesn't matter. If they have their barrier down, they're free value. Especially when it comes to heroes that absolutely don't have a barrier. Take the free value, even if they offer less ultimate charge than other heroes. Like, Roadhog is literally free value. He does not have a way of oppressing you. He can shoot your direction with his shotgun, but he's not going to get much damage. Just keep shooting him. Which is obviously what you're doing. He's the only one on your map, but, like, free value is free value. It's not just this situation, but all situations you should be looking forward to. Where is your Ashe? Okay, she's over in the side room.
We need the robot back.
I would use your ult now. Okay, so this is one of those moments between team fights. What should you be doing? And I would argue that what you should be doing is taking a more advantageous angle. So, right now, your Kiriko just got eliminated, so you probably need to consider taking the back on pressure. Your Ashe has got the right idea, and I would back up because the team is fractured anyway. And let's be 100% honest, you're not going to be able to push that point further forward than when the enemy team is going to get there. They have the advantage this time. So pushing the point forward is not beneficial. You should be taking your position. So between this team fight, now that Lucio's gone away and there's absolutely nobody in front of you, turn around, look for the high ground here, or look for the high ground up here. Honestly, I wouldn't take up here because, again, you're going to be making a push into an enemy team when your only backup is Ashe. So I would have turned around and gone up to the high ground here, because if you get pressed, you push back, and now your team is just that much closer. But it's not... Your shots are not that atrocious, let's be 100% honest with each other. It's that you need to adjust your reaction timing, and that's not necessarily a software control issue. That is a reactionary time issue. So it's not atrocious. I've honest to God seen worse. This is actually pretty decent because you are landing shots. It's not that you're not landing anything, it's that you're mistiming them. Probably because you haven't played Widowmaker as much as you've played other heroes, and the habits from other heroes are leaking into Widowmaker, who's very mechanically inclined. I would have used your visor like 2 minutes ago. Huh. Okay. So, when you're facing off against the Genji, you're playing a mind game. His entire advantage is to cheese you. Your advantage is you basically render his entire kit useless by being mechanically better. That's all he's doing. So he just used his deflect as a key resource. What does he do after he deflects? He either shoots you down or dashes at you. You have your cooldowns. You should turn around, back to your team. Yes, use the grappling hook, create the space, back up. He does not have a means of defending himself, so either he jumps around like an idiot in hopes that you don't hit him, or he goes for cover. But you're remaining here. And you're shooting him with your machine gun. Your machine gun has uses, that wasn't one of them, I would say. Yeah, like what I was saying. Okay, so that wasn't you. I saw that it was Ash in the assistant corner, but you got the last bullet. Target prioritization? Good. You recognize the need to get Mercy. Mercy was by herself, hopping around, prime opportunity. Okay, you miss, but now you forced her to make bad decisions. You forced her to try and go back to her team, and your team's all there now to take advantage. Their Genji's gone. You should be fine, unless Roadhog decides to say screw you and go for you and like single you out. Let's see. I think that your Roadhog did exactly what I think he did, and it's hilarious. Now that Rebreather is not on a cooldown, it's resource metered, he interrupted it for like almost nothing.
No one can hide from my sight.
A little too late. I would have held it for a little longer. So, when do you exactly use Widow Visor? I would argue that you use it in the most advantageous ways possible and hold them because, quite frankly, you can build this ult very quickly. As long as you're landing shots, which you are. You're not landing criticals all the time, but you are landing shots. It builds fairly quickly. But you need to look for the moments where revealing the enemy's position is advantageous. When is it advantageous? The beginning of engagements. I would argue that you should start to think about when you start using your ultimate ability, especially since your ultimate ability is the longest cooldown out of every single ability in your kit. You get your Venom Mine and your grappling hook quicker than you get your visor. You get your blinks and your rewind quicker than you get your pulse bomb on Tracer. You get your healing station and your rockets quicker than you get your visor on Soldier, etc., etc., etc. It's a resource management. So you would wait for the engagements, or, debatably, soft engagements, hard engagements, doesn't really matter, but you would hold off on disengagements. Why would you hold off on disengagements? Because either side's going to win. There's no benefit to already either your team or the enemy team, or rather just your team, whether they're winning or losing, to know where everyone is. They just know where they are and they die in 4K. Let's be honest. And then on the instance of mid-fights, also useless. Ish. It's mostly useless in certain instances. There's also certain instances where it would reveal someone trying to be cheeky. So in this case, Bastion over here, like if nobody was looking his direction, now they can see him. And you can see him too. So you would be revealing cheeky flanks in the middle of a team fight, beginning of engagement, because when you use your visor, you eliminate all sneakiness and all advantage of literally trying to flank your position, flank your team, to take an advantageous position. That's the way it works. Good kill. Good kill. Yeah, you're not being atrocious right now. Just shoot him! That's the machine gun part! Okay, now you use it as an escape tool. That's kind of good. No, get out of there. Just get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Don't re-engage.
The enemy has the robot. Retrieve it.
That's what I was talking about. is this working?
The enemy's starting to move their back.
Okay, I have to ask, who are you shooting at that instance? So what can you do against a Lucio that just beat and you're playing Widow? The short answer is nothing. Bide your time and wait for the barriers to go away, or hard focus one individual. If you're not doing either, then you're wasting your time. Because they're just too hopped up. Good shot. I saw that. Yep, Hog can't oppress you anymore. Get the kill. There you are.
Such guilty pleasures.
I hate to say, the habits on using her okay, good. You're taking good position. Move a little further down. Move a little further down. Move a little further down. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm actually not going to play. If there's one good thing that you're doing, it's that you're taking away the resource of attention by removing their attention from the point and putting it on you. So the fact that you've done that is also good. But I would also like to quickly note that where you are contributes nothing to your team, and I would have moved positions earlier to be right here, because here you have range of both over there and over here, and even if you weren't here, you could also be where you are currently, and that would give you just as much, if not lesser, advantage in one direction than the other because of the tree. But you would have been in a much better position to help your team. And the point is coming over here, so now I would be focusing on coming over here and sticking in this doorway because you have a pack, and then you could either go out the door here, or you can go out back here.
Get in there, Beelzebub.
Oh, come on, we let them take the robot! Can't handle the heat. Stay out of my way.
No, don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Stop! Stop!
Barricade is moving forward.
What are you doing? They have a near full team. Yours is fractured. They're not there yet. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, good. Oh, you were hurting my soul for 2 seconds. Yeah, I would use your ult right now. I would use your ult right now. 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 Why are you not listening? I'm totally kidding with you. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Back up. Back up. Back up. Oh God. Okay. I'll stop now. But yeah. Before I even continue with this, right now would be a good time to get the hell out of Dodge. Your team is split. Your only backup is Ash. And there's a Roadhog, a Lucio, a Moira, a McCree, and a Sojourn. What do they all have in common aside from Moira? Burst damage and crowd control to a certain extent. You're screwed if they decide to press you right now. You are split. Your team will come back after they focus you and take care of you, and now they have point and they control it. Get out of Dodge and reconnect with your team. Just go back this way. Go back this way. Go through here, take as many shortcuts as you need, and reposition yourself up here. Don't take the fight! Good elimination.
Je me sens vivante.
Hey, Moira.
Hold that thought.
Ah, you're gonna get. You're gonna get the righty McRight click. McCree, the fan the hammer Cree. Yeah, there he is. Eat that one, you jerk. Are you gonna win this? Yeah, this honestly looks, yeah. Get out of there. No! I honestly wouldn't have gone, I don't, you saw that your Ashe was backing into it. I would have just let her have it and get out of there because there's another one literally over here, and I believe underneath. Let me just make sure I'm not shot. Yeah, it's a mega. This is why you also need to know the position of the health packs. You lingered too long, the orb got you. You would have made better progress by just coming here and then walking into this room so that it didn't bounce toward you.
This ends now.
Does it though? Yeah, your team just got shredded.
The robot.
You want that loud?
No, don't push! Don't push! Don't do it! No! Good dodge of the hook. That's what I was worried about, by the way. I'm sorry, how did you survive literally any of that? I don't know how you just survived literally any of that.
60 seconds.
What am I doing?
Back in action.
2-minute warning.
No one can hide from my sight.
Let the Kitsune guide you.
You can hide.
But you 30 seconds.
Ooh, good eliminations.
They took the robot from us. Keep the defense up for a little longer.
Good taking of high ground.
10 seconds remaining.
Get in there, Beelzebub!
You're dead. Calm. Is it a solo roll? I'll quickly point out, one of the things... Yeah, your problem is no longer your settings. Your problem is just your mechanics and your skill on the hero in question.
Stay with the robot and we will win.
Yeah. So all in all, I'm just gonna say this: the real issue with this is not your settings. It's not anything you need to adjust, although there might be some things you need to fine tune. I made the suggestion prior to adjust your relative aim sensitivity because you don't want to adjust all of your sensitivity. You want to just adjust that because it looks like you're struggling with your aim assist to get the aim in, and that can either be adjusted based on your aim assist strength, your aim assist window size, or your aim assist ease in. But if all of those were the settings that they were, then you want to do yourself a favor and look at the only other setting before you start touching everything again that you could possibly look at when it's relevant to the hero, and that's your relative aim sensitivity. Because that will adjust the aim within the scope, and that's what I was noticing. You weren't having a lot of slingshots, but you were having a lot of moments where it's like you're struggling to keep up with them, and then you need to flick shot. And the flicking, you actually have good settings for flicks. You don't know that, though. And I think that that leads into the bigger issue, which is you just need to train your mechanics. Honestly, I would just dedicate more time to mixed play. Another critique, and this is not settings related, this is knowing when and when not to use your abilities. Like, learn ability usage so that you don't just burn through critical cooldowns. Recognize what is your life-saving ability and what is your assisting ability. For in Widow's case, it's the life-saving ability is your only form of mobility and like positioning, your grappling hook. Don't just burn that to get what you want. Try to burn that to get a better vantage point, to get out of a sticky situation, to position yourself in an ideal situation where nobody can contest you, and if they can contest you, they would have to A, use resources to get you, or B, you can peel back to your team, rendering their dive useless. So, all in all, I saw those shots. You have the skills, you just need the tuning, the finer tuning. And that's pretty much it. Would you be able to coach me on McCree? First off, Slinger76, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Second, I'm pretty much coaching anybody at this point. I have another one that was given to me from, what's his face, Riot, who I think, I don't know if he's actually still here or if he's playing a game, but he mentioned it on himself. I'm coaching pretty much anybody. I'm doing it for free right now because I want to start getting into coaching and I need experience, but yeah, let's see right here. He's doing supports again, bro. But you have like 3 heroes too. How long was the match? Is this yeah, this is ranked. What Dorado? Got it. There's always a reason. There's always a reason. I probably don't even need to watch it to know what the problem is. Wrong thing. I exited off by accident. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind doing a coach for McCree. It's been a bit. Best way to submit codes is to join my Discord, and in there you can put the finer details, like a brief explanation and everything. Yeah, that's fine. So for that, I'm gonna write. Okay, so for your PlayStation, if you're finding that you're struggling with your settings, my coaching does not cover that in particular. I can give brief explanations, but the best way I can help you there is that I have it's going to sound bad, I have an hour-long guide on my channel, which is, by the way, the most popular video to date, and which is how I'm getting the attention I'm getting. It's an hour long, 59 minutes flat, but it has chapters, so you don't need to watch the whole thing. But I would suggest you watch that video for a breakdown of every setting if you find that you're struggling with something. And at least dedicate half an hour to listening, because that's where the crux of all the meat is within half an hour. The rest of it is how to implement it, or at least the way that I implemented it that helped me. And that would be my suggestion if you're having issue with your settings. I can lightly help out right now, but the primary reason why that anyone goes for coaching is to improve on gameplay, improve on mechanics, improve on strategy, improve on the more macro things, the things that we can observe, your gameplay, your positioning, your habits, your behaviors. Not really for aim. So, okay, good. So you already did, okay, perfect. Yeah, okay. So as long as you're aware of that, that's what I wanted to quickly... Watched that video a while ago, good video. Perfect. So that's just what I needed to establish, is just as long as we're clear on... So my wife is staying with my... God, I have to actually talk about this for a second. I actually have to talk about it because there's there's actually a reason for a slightly somber attitude and a little bit of like mental distancing. So last night, and I was going to put this up on a video. I don't think I'll put that video up now since I'm explaining it. But last night at about 1:23, 1:27 my time, for this entire last like month long, I'm going to say a month, my mom has been away from Texas and in Florida because my grandma's health took a turn for the worse. She was between the hospital, not, I don't think it was not a retirement home. What's the word for it? Shoot, I forgot the name of it. But she's basically between these different places. Her health was not doing too good. They determined that earlier in the month that she had an aneurysm, and it was leading to more and more complications the more and more that time progressed. And finally, last night at about 1:23, 1:27, she passed away in her sleep. So my grandma, unfortunately, is no longer with us. Last night I had my time to grieve, which is why I'm not, overly emotional right now. But basically, that was the last surviving grandparent on my side that has just unfortunately left us, which now means that all I have are my parents and my aunts, my uncles, all the direct family members that far, or indirect family members, excuse me. So, yeah, thank you for your condolences, Slinger. I appreciate it. Like I said, I just need to take my mind off something, so I might not play competitive Overwatch. This was also part of the video I was going to release. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the normal routine next week. I think there is a way, I'm not 100% sure, but I would YouTube that. Yeah, I don't think next week is going to be a normal week for me to play. Next week is going to probably be an off week where I go dark, and I will do that with an additional week. If I don't make it a dark week, then it will be a light week where I play other video games a little like I want to be able to turn my brain off. I don't want to have to, force myself into that where I'm not in a proper mindset to go do a grind. So that's not the proper way to do it. But yeah, so that happened within the last 24 hours. So that's still kind of fresh, but at the same time I've had my time. So I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm at peace personally. I don't want to make this a religious segment, but we've been pretty much at peace because this has been kind of like building up where we suspected she definitely does not have much longer. And so we spent a good portion of our time while we were doing our business because we couldn't go to Florida personally to visit her. But, we could send her videos. I have my daughter that we take pictures with. My wife is pregnant with my other daughter, so we took videos. We sent her some music that I played on my guitar. I read to her some scripture from, I forgot where I read it from, New Testament. I remember that. It's just words of comfort and everything for everybody having stress. And my mom, thankfully, is at peace. I'm mostly at peace too. But I am definitely not in a place. I am definitely not in a place to play or play competitively. So that's kind of like a little much to do for the upcoming week. I'm gonna try to bring myself to a more relaxing point and just turn off my brain for a little bit so that I could also make better time and not waste my energy playing video games when other people probably need attention for this. Especially since we're probably going to need to plan a gathering for all our cousins. We grew up very closely together over our lifetime. So, yeah, that's what my immediate future is going to be looking like for now. But yeah, coaching is turning off my brain. It's fun to watch. It's not as engaging as playing competitively. So, but my wife is now with my dad because we needed to do laundry. So she's with the daughter. I have a night to myself. And she just sends me a picture right now, and this kind of puts a smile on my face, where they had to set up an inflatable bed, and my daughter, who's now 3, not 3.5 quite yet, she's close, but she's just laying there like a cute little poopy, and apparently the poopy's got gas. She had Spanish food today, so it was rice and beans, and she had plenty, and I know that because I'm the one that fed her 'em. So I know she's had a lot. Poor girl's intestines are gonna get the gauntlet for sure. But the wife's dealing with that for the rest of the night, so sorry, honey. How am I supposed to help that? I can't help that. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know what mic it is. Riot sends me a message on Xbox. What's going on, budget? Welcome there. What do you mean I know? I don't know what mic you have. I don't know what controller you have. I don't know what your setup is. I also don't know which Xbox you have, because some of them actually have unique issues, so that's always a fun little bit. Nice. Let me quickly give you a wave high, give you a roll. That way you get pinged for it. All right. So it's pretty self-explanatory. You go into VOD submission. If you check the top, it'll tell you how to format it, so that way you could clearly give me direction as to what I'm reviewing, and just a brief explanation. It doesn't need to be an extremely long-winded one like Leonardo, and you don't have to just put the information like Riot at the way bottom. But yeah. There's someone else too. Oh my god, we got someone else. Is Budget, is that you? Did you just join right after Slinger? Enzo. Okay, yeah, it is you. Okay. I figure you're an Overwatch player. So I'm just going to give you the Overwatch player tag then. But yeah. So you might have just missed it, but I was explaining to everybody why I'm a little bit more down today. I was explaining that my grandma passed within the last 24 hours, so it's still kind of fresh. I'm just trying to take it a little bit slower and try and take my mind off of things. I've had my time to grieve, so I'm not as emotional as I was when I first received the news. I'm doing a little bit better, but yeah. It's still pretty fresh. So I'm going to be taking it slow for the next week, either making it go dark or I'm playing games that I can just turn my brain off. It most likely will, in fact, actually, I'll just quickly show. It's most likely going to consist of VOD reviewing on Overwatch 2, playing Night Watchman, which if anybody's watched my prior streams, it's basically similar to the game I'm on observation duty, which you could YouTube it. Very fun game. I enjoy it. It's like the Xbox version to it. A little buggy, but that's what helps make it fun. And then the other one is Dark Souls 2. I could turn my mind off for that, like bam. But yeah, no, like I said, I had my time to grieve. I'm feeling a lot better, but thank you for your condolences. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, like if I could also mention one more thing before I move on, because I don't want to keep talking about it. It's a little bit depressing, I hate to say. I don't want to kill everybody's mood for everything, but back in like, what was it, 2001 or 2003? I'm mixing up the years. Back in that time, my grandpa passed away, and I wasn't there for it either, but thankfully my parents were. Rather, not my parents, my mom, excuse me. So she was there for both her parents as they passed, which was good. That's something that no child should ever have to think about regretting. But when she came home and told me about the story of how he passed, kind of realizing a lot later on in life, like, that is PTSD inducing. Like, now she's got horror stories to think about. My grandpa's Passing was not an easy one. He was on a machine to keep him alive. He was picked, prodded with like needles to help with injections of like whatever painkillers they were giving him. Given like a breathing tube, like the poor guy was just poked and prodded up until the last moments of his death, where they were finally like, enough is enough. Like, just let the poor man die. At this point, this is inhumane, and I would hope that as they stopped the procedures and stopped inflicting more things on him, that he was having a lot less pain before the end. But thankfully, my grandma didn't have to go through something similar like that. That is greatly comforting right there to know that thankfully she had a much more peaceful passing, which was in her sleep. So, either way, again, not trying to be religious. I hope nobody takes it that way, but it brings me enough comfort to talk about it. Both of them were believers in Jesus, and I know that both of them have fulfilled the goal. They are now before the presence of our Heavenly Father, so I know He is a righteous and just judge. They didn't get screwed. Their faith was strong. My grandma was stubborn in conversation, difference of opinion, but nah, she was a good believer. I know she's in a good place. So, good comfort right there. Alright, enough about that. Let's try and change the subject so it's not so somber anymore. Is Riot still here? Looking between my chat real quick. I'm just looking in the opposite direction here. Riot! Riot! Bro! Tomorrow, I meant to actually ask the wife if she would let me stream tomorrow, just as a way of kind of helping me cope through the evening. We typically like to enjoy our weekends together because we work during the weekdays, and also I'm working 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., so another reason why I'm not playing. I don't want to get hooked on too many games. If I'm not streaming tomorrow, most likely I won't be. Again, spending time with my family. I'm going to pick up on Monday. I'll gladly do... you know what? I'm not going to make it a dark week. I'll do VOD reviews, I'll do light gameplay, but if I find myself in a place where I'm not feeling like getting on video gaming, I'll just be like... You're one of the first few to actually notice the NYXL jersey behind me. But yeah, no, I'll be back Monday. I'll gladly do one on Monday. Because at the very least, it doesn't take much effort. It doesn't take much to actually do a VOD review. It doesn't do much to turn my brain off on some of the easier games. I just won't be playing competitive or quick play. I might be playing like versus AI, like you could probably see my last few matches. I just do it for fun. Ooh, can't breathe. But yeah, I do versus AI when I just want to turn my brain off but enjoy some Overwatch, so I don't take it too seriously. But I do find it hilarious from time to time how people join in on the versus AI and then we lose, and it's like, how? Like, the only benefit that AI has is that they have aimbot, but nobody should be losing to these robots. No, thank you for giving me something to work with. I'm trying to build as a coach, so right now I'm not charging anybody because obviously I'm still quite an amateur at it. I don't do it as much as I could do it, but, you know, I want to build into it, try to give this game a little bit more purpose and give myself a little more purpose for playing this game, so I cannot wait. Gives me some good practice. So let me quickly address this, by the way, budget. Ignore everything behind me. Home jersey. away jersey. Whoops. The new home jersey. Oh no, excuse me. The new home jersey. And then you just saw the away. And then their last jersey before Overwatch League took a dump. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing, not gonna lie. I was a big NYXL fan, and I would have loved to support them again. Remember me when you're famous. I am nowhere near Spilo levels of famous when it comes to coaching, but yeah. Yeah, no, I would love to see NYXL come back. I would love to see them play. I would support them in a heartbeat and just be like, yo, bro, they're back. But they're not. They're not. Don't even bother following their social media. It's just depressing how much content they're actually stealing from people. And I say stealing loosely. They're not actually stealing. They're just, they have some content creators that they're partnered with that I guess they use their videos. Some of them is like, where would you go on your dream vacation with heroes from Overwatch? With Lucio, you go to the Bahamas. With Anna, you go to the beach. And with Orisa, you go to Russia. And it's like, I don't give a fuck. Sorry, I just don't. Pardon the French, by the way. I'm frustrated with them because they would rather share shorts instead of formulating an actual team. But then I also heard some recent news unrelated to Overwatch, and this one came from my dad, who's up with recent events. New York, the state in which they represent, is actually starting to lose a lot of money. Like, up to the point where they acknowledge it, and if they acknowledge it, you know it's a problem. I used to live in New York, which is why New York is my team, but, like, New York never admits this. They've been losing money for years because of the stuff that they do, the stuff that they waste their time on, the things that the policies they enact. The city is literally a dump. I lived there. I know. I lived on Long Island. Went to the city often enough. Long Island's a dump. But, like, they're losing money to the point where now they're talking about losing money and being like, hey, we're losing money. That might be why New York Excelsior is not in business anymore the way it used to be, because they probably had some people that, some investors that are no longer around. That would be something. That would be something. This is event list. This one refreshes, right? Yeah, if you guys haven't given me a subscribe yet, I would ask you nicely to do that. Because I am very close to reaching 500 and I'm trying to build on that, so. Let me by the way, start the import real quick. I tried inputting the code, I hit OK by accident, and its warning message is not that I didn't input a code, it's that code already exists in your list. I didn't type anything. How does that code that I didn't type in exist on my list when I didn't type anything? I'm trying to I did it again.
We're all soldiers now.
Oh, shoot. Thank you, Budget. Well, at least now I know my thing works. God. Hey, Sage, what's going on? Oh, so you have been here for a while. I figured you actually looked familiar. I didn't want to say anything because it would be embarrassing on my part, but I think I recognize the name and picture, and I'm more visually, I remember, I can't speak. I remember things visually a lot better. Okay, that would probably be... You changed your profile and name. You might be giving me a sense of placebo then. But I feel like I know your name anyway. I don't know. Maybe I'm making stuff. I'm also very tired. That doesn't help. So, shot, tired, it's not a very good combination. So I said hi to. Wait, hold on a minute. You've been subbed for a while. Sent to VOD. Oh, nice. Okay, budget. I'll review that then. You used to be Brooklyn? I can't recall. Because here's the thing. I actually do genuinely care about everybody that subscribes because I'm a small time streamer anyway. I don't want to be huge to the point of like say XQC because at that point it becomes so impersonable. But at the same time, I really wanted to. Okay, so you've commented on some stuff. I have to look that up. Yeah, but I see my notifications when someone subs, and I appreciate every one of them. And I would give them like maybe like a badge or something if I could give them some recognition or just be like, oh hey, thanks for subbing. But YouTube doesn't have anything like that. To answer your question, budget, my favorite player on NYXL, while he lasted, was Sabiolby. For a couple of reasons. And the primary reason will be the last one. But the first reason is because he's a DPS player. The second is because he plays a very insane Tracer. And more so in the regard that he didn't play it like normal. He played very uniquely. And a lot of people still sometimes don't acknowledge it because it's like he said he was the best Tracer in the world for like the memes. But here's the thing. If you paid attention to how he played Tracer, very few people played Tracer the same way he did. And it was like, bro, you can't make that up. You can't breed someone like him. Like, it's kind of like you only meet one person in a lifetime. You can't find anybody like... He was really one of the best. I will go off on this sob story and then I'll actually get to the VOD review. Give me like 2 seconds. So Riot isn't responding. I'm just going to skip his. I've already reviewed like a dozen of his. Let's be honest with each... And he's on Discord. My man. You're making me... You're hurting my soul. Okay. Freaking guy, I love him. Yeah, so the last I'll get this one set up and then I'll go off on the third reason as to why I like Sabiolby. So let me just make sure Q3 and 8, yeah, 8. Make sure I don't mistype. Perfect. Match loaded. Perfect. Oh, I hate Cerveza. I hate Flashpoint. Ugh. Okay, let's go back and okay, so I probably have to look back. That video got so many comments and so many likes and so much everything. That was the video that got me on the board. The video that got me on the board. So okay, now Gunslinger 76 actually looks a lot more familiar. That's probably why your name looked familiar. I changed my stuff because I didn't want my name out there for everyone, and my new profile name is based off my username I use for everything. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Fun. So anyway, let's get back on topic. So the last reason I like Sabiolby, and it involves a little story of their grand finals where I believe they didn't make it to grand finals. Excuse me, I meant quarterfinals. Quarterfinals... They, who were they facing? It wasn't Philadelphia. Who were they facing at that time? Shoot. You know, it's funny, I remembered it recently, too. I was like, they faced off against that. I think this is the year that Shanghai took the Grand Championships, if I recall correctly. If not, it was the previous year. But this was the quarterfinals. They had worked their asses off to get to the grand finals. They started winning matches. They had a rocky start. Everything was kind of like, you know, up and down, like inconsistent. They were winning some, they were losing some, and it's like, oh, they're falling apart. they made it to the quarterfinals. They were super confident that they were going to make it. They were doing really well at that point. And at the quarterfinals, they unfortunately got washed. So, Sabiolbe's been the team captain of NYXL for like the longest time. And his entire bit was, you know, he helps his team, he manages them through it. He used to be a professional bowler, like the captain of his league. He used to be captain over a lot of things. He has a leadership mentality. And the true quality of his character is shared through on this one, where they lose the match. His friend that got him into Overwatch League by extension of Apex, Flower, if anybody knows him, Flower got him in, and Flower was playing with him in that match. And Flower starts to break down because, like, everybody was, like, so on it. They were invested. They wanted to win. They didn't want to lose. Everything was in it. And they lost. So now Flower, you know, he starts to break. He starts to crack. He's like, we tried so hard and we couldn't do it. And Sabiolbe comforted him on camera, walking up to him, and he speaks. Now, this is all on the stage, so the camera doesn't pick up his audio. Camera can't pick up his audio. There's no back comms, so nobody can do that. And nobody knows what he said. But he's comforting his friend, and it's like, oh, it's pretty obvious. But they see him speak, and they're wondering, what did you say to him? Because, like, Flower at that point, you know, starts to come back. Like, a little bit. He starts to, like, you know, he doesn't break down anymore. And they interviewed Sabiolbe later on. I don't remember how much of a gap between the interview happened, but they asked him, like, hey, we saw that you were comforting Flower when you guys lost. And we saw that you know, came up to him, put your hand on his shoulder, and said something to him. What is it that what did you say to him? And Sabiolbe didn't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, it is not your fault that we lost. It's my fault and my responsibility as to why we lost. God damn. If that didn't actually move me to tears the first time I read it, it did, by the way. Because, like, this is real for them. I get it. It's a video game for some. It was real for them. It was a real business. They were getting paid. This was their job. And the passion that they had for this game, I can't deny it. Sure, they could have their passion in something more worthwhile, but, you know, to be honest, they were working really hard. This is real. And they wanted to win that championship. They wanted to be grand champions. And they had the opportunity right there, but fell short. And his first response is not to, like, comfort his teammates, like, we tried our best, like the usual shenanigans. He takes it on himself in real leadership and says that our failures are no one's responsibility but mine. I'm the captain. I was supposed to help you guys through this. I was supposed to lead us to victory. I was supposed to get us the grand championship. And I fell short. Not we. I. That is the sign of real leadership, and I loved it. And my respect for him just... No. No. No one's ever going to really take away... I don't care what happens at this point, he still has my full-on respect. But, God, I would give anything to watch him in his prime again. But the guy is unfortunately right now in the Korean military, so he's not going to be joining up in any esports organizations, especially... He was even too old, unfortunately, so they had no choice but to let him go. But they did him dirty at the end by putting him with Seoul Dynasty and just benching him. I'm sure that helped because he was trying to probably get into the military on that one, but damn. I do miss him. I really do. He was actually entertaining to watch. That was another thing that I liked about him. He was just entertaining as hell to watch. Like, when he freaked out, he was like... Holy crap. I couldn't help but laugh my ass off every time I heard him freak out when something was not going his way, how he'd blink around his tracer, like, in sheer panic. to kind of remind you, like, hey, he might be one of the best tracers in the world, but even he has those oh shit moments. But no, that's another thing. He went from a twig. He went from, bruh. I saw his tweet the other day that he posted. I'm not personally gay. But if once in my life I ever had to do one thing, or say one thing that would make someone question whether or not I was straight, oh daddy. I almost couldn't last through that. I definitely recorded that for later. Shoot. Okay, I'll stop. I'm really shut. I'm just gonna get on with the VOD review in like 2 seconds. First off, welcome Sam. I did notice you. That's crazy. No, I actually wouldn't do that, but it is funny to imagine. But to answer you quickly, Sam, I'm sorry. I just had a shot moment. I'm having one. Like, anybody who knows those moments at like 3 a.m. where literally something that's not funny will be funny to you, that's just what happened, except it's now 10 p.m. for me. So to answer your thing, Sam, I wouldn't mind doing some coaching, but I'm limiting my coaching right now not to direct coaching and like talking or playing along someone. I'm doing VOD reviews, so if you join the Discord, it's the best way to do it because I can actually manage everything. As well as consolidate everything in a viewable fashion. Midnight Hysteria. That's probably it. That's actually a really great description. Damn, bro. I'm saving that for later. Midnight Hysteria. I gotta share that with my brother. We had that a long time. But yeah, no. If you share the VOD codes on my Discord, that's the best way I can get back to you. And I do the recordings either on stream or I do them off the side if I'm not streaming that day. But that's the easiest way for me to help on coaching for right now. I'm unable to... Alright, perfect, yeah. The more codes, the harder it's going to be for me to catch up. So try to share at least maybe 1 or 2 codes at the very least. That's probably why it's not as popular. Dang. But yeah, Midnight Hysteria is actually a great description. I don't know why we didn't think of that sooner. But yeah, share it on Discord. When you join in, I'll give you a quick tag so I know that you're Overwatch related. And you'll definitely see it when you scroll on down. And in the meantime, let me get started on reviewing... What was it, budgets? Or slingers? I think it was budget, right? Yeah, slinger, you don't have any codes for me right now. It's budget, right? Why am I asking? I have it right here. Budget. Okay. Yeah, so, what I thought. Right, so before I start losing my mind more, the viewer budget, what is it? It's Enzo. Okay, so your name on Discord's Enzo, so I don't mix you up. Enzo's got a code. He's Diamond 3 Flex DPS playing Genji on Cerveza. And this is on an alt account with his friend in Diamond 3. So a short... You could put it in the chat real quick, but what is it that you want me to basically observe for you, give you perspective on? Because where? Not, wrong thing. What am I doing? There you are. I moved my controller. What the heck? Yeah. So what is it you're looking for perspective on? Because I could pretty much do it all. Also, if you could help me out real quick, I don't know what your name is or what your team is, so you kind of got to give me a name there. Okay, positioning. I can definitely help with that.
Ready
Yeah, so...
for battle.
Yep, there he is. Haha! Right, literally right away. Okay. So let's bring it to the start of the match. What is everybody running? So you... Oh, boy. Used to name Doom in Overwatch 1. Fly over roofs. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that indefinitely. Alright, so... Playing Genji, your teammates are Reinhardt, I can tell you why you lost, Lucio Kiriko, and your fellow DPS is Reaper. I mean, all in all, that's actually not a bad combination for a team, but Reinhardt is not a strong pick as of recently, or at all. Let's be completely honest with each other. It's very hard to make him work. Then on the enemy team, you're going to have McCree and Tracer. You're going to have Lucio Moira. It's always a combination between those two. Lucio is the must pick as of recently. And then Orisa. I hate to say it, Orisa v. Reinhardt is not an easy one anymore. Yeah. I was about to say, because it's comp and not a scrim. Oh, you do scrims. Okay. So that explains a little bit, at the very least. Right, so let's see. So we're starting the engagement. Let's quickly get an overview, and... Man, that sucks. Okay. I thought that I'd be able to get a higher advantage point here, but it looks like indoors is going to screw me. Alright. Hold the phone. First off, what is your sensitivity? I just saw you like 180 3 times in a row. Second, you forced McCree to swap off to Soldier. And number 3, I don't think you need my help, because that looked like... First off, let's just go back for like 2 seconds. Oh, wrong thing. So the team fight begins. We're going to play this at 75% speed, maybe 50. So good reverse right there. You reverse the orb. Perfect. You're with your tank. You're in good position right now. No arguments. No problems. Now you take high ground. You're using your mobility. I don't need to correct anything you did. You did everything right here. Now, McCree notices that and tries to go for you. I'm just trying to process everything that happened. It was so quick. Man, bro. Okay, so you're on PC. That explains everything. I'm like, even at 100 cents, I can't achieve that. Jesus. Literally. Yeah, so you pretty much did... Okay, so yeah, that's when he actually goes away. It looks like Reinhardt's doing everything good. Do you win this match or do you lose this match? If you could answer that during time. I'm just going to continue on with it. Okay, so you went up, you distracted, that was good. Who's attacking you right now? It is the Moira, okay. Okay. Good use of walking in her face and deflecting. You're saving your Reinhardt some trouble. And then you immediately back up into him, so you're protecting yourself once your deflect is down. You're taking an off angle, so you're immediately in the best position possible. Soldier should be coming in within the next few seconds. Good use of taking an angle. Good elimination on Moira. You see, I can't even really critique this, because there's nothing to critique. You're doing everything right. The moment, like, you recognize when you need to take cover, you recognize when you need to back up, you recognize when you take an off angle, you have the advantageous positioning. Your positioning is actually pretty prime. If I can only make one suggestion about your positioning, no, I actually couldn't. I actually couldn't. So I believe there is actually one thing I can correct. So you would be able to tell me better than myself. But as I understood it, when you're gold and below, it has to do with improving as a player, because that's where the middle of the player base goes. Gold and below, that's where a majority of the player base goes down in skill. The moment you start hitting high gold, low plat, you start to recognize the need for hyperactivity. And not hyperactivity, hyper aggression. But unfortunately, it's a powerhouse without direction, is the best way I could describe that hyper-aggressiveness. So it's hyper-aggressive, you're becoming more aggressive in your playstyle, you're becoming more aggressive in your positioning, you're becoming more aggressive in your pressure. And it's the moment that you start hitting high plat, low diamond that it becomes a tad bit more refined, but the hyper-aggression also steps up with it. So it's kind of catching up to mirror, like if it was here and this is where the control of that hyper-aggression went, it kind of moves up with each other. So you improve upon that hyper-aggression, but you're still hyper-aggressive. And you don't lack direction like you do in plat, but you don't have direction like you do the moment you start hitting high masters, low grandmasters. And you are a masters player, so you're playing in a diamond lobby as a masters player, masters habits formulating in here. The only thing that I would offer to correct here is that your Reinhardt is in a little bit of a pickle, and it looks like he's coming back up. So at this point, I would have probably moved in and done a pincer, like maybe take up here, just a spitball. You could really have gone down here and still gotten as much value. You can jump your Genji. But I would have just done that. But either way, it ends up... What the heck? It ends up working out for itself, so... Ah, you lost your tank, though. Okay, so it didn't fully work out. Yeah, you have good direction, though. I honestly can't complain. That little critique means nothing. Your positioning is really good right now. And another thing, if anybody's going to learn a lesson from this, I would hope that everybody learns this lesson. I don't know what your accuracy is. I don't know how many of your shots you're actually hitting. But I can tell you that you do something that a lot of the players that I'm now starting to coach in low silver don't do. And that would be, you still apply pressure. And you're smart about it, which is good. You apply pressure by throwing your shurikens, and even if you get one hit out of the 3, you don't always need to deal damage to put pressure. You're forcing them back because now they have to reconsider, like, oh, I got hit. I'm out of cover. So, oh, you're also... Ooh. Don't lose Kiriko. Ryan! Why, Ryan? Why, Ryan? Okay, maybe he was in front of you. I think he would have gotten stuck irregardless. But good attempt on the deflect, but Ryan kind of picked that out for you and just let his shield take the brunt. That's a warm-up game, it's a warm-up game, but at least you know it. Ow. This one's weird. I don't even think that this is anything to improve upon, because obviously you're watching your back. I mean, there's really no right answer to this. I would have said that if Ryan was going to be taking the brunt, I would immediately start the diving process on Soldier and Lucio. You probably don't know where everybody else is, though, but Tracer's making her way around. By forcing the dive, Soldier will be forced to use his resources. Yeah, I don't think that there's any real right reason. To be honest, I'm thinking about three things. If you did dive the back line up there, you'd put pressure on them from putting pressure on your tank, and the current Lucio-Reinhardt combo could take care of Tracer. But you wouldn't know Tracer was not there. Plus, their tank is coming back from spawn. I doubt you knew that as well. Unless you were keeping tabs on it. What the heck? Oh, that's where your Kiriko died. Okay. I was like, how did she get up there? So yeah. By going for the dive, you take away this brunt right here, and Soldier, he's reliant on his aim. I don't know what your... Yeah, you're off your deflect, so it probably wasn't going to be a good idea. It was a possibility, but your cooldowns heavily depend on it. The next thing you could have done was go after Moira, which is what you ended up doing. But I would have stuck with the team in this instance, because it looks like your Reinhardt's kind of absorbing some pressure right now. But staying with your Lucio is going to keep you up, and there's no reason to leave right now. If anything, I just would have taken the high ground and let your Lucio do the groundwork and force her to divide her attention. Which, if you took the high ground, you would have avoided getting killed by Tracer from behind. Yeah, this looked like it was going to be a scuffed team fight no matter what you picked, though. I can't even... Dang. Alright, Sam, I'll have a look at that in just a second. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do myself a favor and highlight your message, so that way I can find it in a little bit. Okay, so you're coming back. Yeah, so let me go back a step, too. So when I was mentioning with you throwing your kunais, I know you said this was a warm-up match. Do you need to get eliminations, period, to get value? The short answer is no. You know that, but look at what you're doing. You're not aiming to get kills on D.Va. You're not aiming to do anything but get some pot shots off and build your ultimate. Your value's not coming from trying to get kills. Your value's trying to come from putting pressure that even if you're only hitting 1 out of the 3 shuriken, or maybe 2 out of 9, you're still firing in the direction and putting pressure. And that's something to kind of like duly note right here, is that you're not getting all your hits with your things, which everybody in a lower rank thinks you need to get high accuracy. It's true, but you need to understand you don't need to get eliminations to get value, and this is good habit to keep a track of. I had a nickel for every time that happened. Your Reaper swapped off to Sojourn. The enemy's Orisa turned to D.Va. Okay. Dang. Tracer v Genji's complicated. Good elimination. Man, nothing to critique there. That was actually perfect. That's gotta be annoying. Finally a cat. Did your Sojourn goes Torbjorn? And your tank goes Doom. Oh. Well, it's better than Rhine. I can't complain. Also, Doom. Moira is relentlessly pursuing you, and that's showing. Doom is a much better counter to Diva than Rhine. She can't block his abilities with Defense Matrix. She can stop his knuckles, but she really cannot do anything about the crowd control. So, good spot. Good spot. But Moira picking on you is kind of like annoying. Dang. Good on you for waiting for your tank. Oh, I'm ready to unleash the molten core. So you're recognizing the need to stick with your team, and I love it. Because I see that you're aware. Your game sense is up there. Your game sense is better than mine. Only critique for this team fight in general is maybe on the hyper aggression you could take an off angle and just come up here and dash back directly to your team if you get pressed. But again, this is also a diamond lobby like you were mentioning. Maybe that's not viable. You would tell me better. But by dividing their attention, your team can press and get in. Because it looks like Soldier's now running into your team, and it looks like Tracer. Where did she go? Inside Diva.
There they are. Get ready.
Yeah, like you can. There are times to stick with your team. There are times to split away. And I see that you recognize when you can do these things prominently. I think the off angle there would be definitely be good. Yeah, the Moira seems to be the bane of your existence, and it looks like Tracer is doing her job too in trying to take advantageous off angles. So she's doing the same thing you are, so you have to contest with... I'll talk in a second. I just saw something else. Yeah, it looks like their Tracer's doing a good job to also do the same thing that you are doing. And your enemy Moira is also trying to counter you, because she's one of the only few that can. Lucio can't counter you fully, Tracer can't counter you fully, Diva kinda counters you to a certain extent, Soldier you counter to a pretty heavy extent too, and then Moira is hard to counter, because she could just honestly left-click you to death and you can't do anything. And then your team, your tank just keeps swapping, bro. Doomfist would have been a good pick against Diva. Zarya's a good pick against Diva, so he's not picking badly, but why so many swaps within like 2 seconds?
Let the Kitsune guide you.
Torbjorn's turret doing the finishing work. I love it. Good take. Good kill on Soldier. Take the pressure, take the pressure. Perfect. Dang, bro. So, doesn't look like you're having trouble so much with Moira as you are having trouble pinning her down and stopping her from bugging you. Because eliminating her doesn't seem to be too much of an issue compared to the rest of the heroes. They went monkey? They swapped. Oh my god, they're really just trying to hard counter it. Okay, so I can't say for sure whether or not you are the win condition, but I can definitely say that you're the most consistent win condition because your DPS has literally made more swaps than anyone on your team. Your tank is coming in close second. And to counter Zarya, they went monkey. And even further still, they swapped off their Tracer to go Genji, I guess, to counter you. I'm not 100% certain why they did that, because Tracer was looking like she's getting decent value. And then they swap off their Soldier to Mei. So now you have 2 heroes you need to worry about. Actually, no, 3 heroes. Excuse me, I forgot about Winston for 2 seconds. You have 3 heroes to worry about. You can't deflect Winston's primary or secondary, you can't deflect Mei's primary, and you cannot deflect Moira's primary. But you can deflect the Icicle, and you can deflect the Orb. You're kind of at a losing situation. I think they're just trying to hard counter you at this point. They've recognized enough of the win condition on the DPS side of things to note that if they can remove your value, their Torbjorn can't measure up. And it looks like your support went from Kiriko to Zen. I don't know if that just happened. But Zen's a good pick all around, let's be 100% honest. Hopefully, the Discord Orb game is on point. I almost expected you to dive off the edge there. Just saying. Good pre-fire. So I didn't notice that they swapped to Genji just to swap to Soldier, so I totally just missed that for like a second. Good capture on point. Bro, can nobody make up their mind about swapping? Bro! Now they swapped the Soldier from Genji, which I pointed out earlier, and then the Mei swapped off to Reaper. This is becoming, like, honestly... Wow, it's hard to keep up with. I'm just gonna say that. You know what's funny? I'm trying to curb my language and I've been cursing, like, for the entire time before this, so. Three more minutes, you definitely win this. Good bubbles to keep. Bro, first off, your Zarya, MVP behavior right there. She bubbled you. Did she bubble you twice, or did she just bubble you once? Bubbles you once. Okay, so she bubbled you once. You don't, like, I'm going to tell you right now, nobody in the lower ranks can work together enough, coordinatedly enough, to have that kind of behavior. I've heard it from my friend, like, back in Overwatch 1 when it's like, oh, when you have a Reaper and you're playing Zarya, bubble your Reaper so that he doesn't get CC'd into oblivion trying to Death Blossom. And what you just did is, like, You don't see that in the lower ranks very often. You got bubbled while using Blade, which means that there was no CC, there was no immediate killing you off because they had to get through a bubble. Like, bro. Yeah, there you go. She bubbled you at least, there you go. Don't ever take that for granted whenever you have that. Let's just actually go back for a second. Let me see. Reaper forces you back. Dang, the mistiming on that. I had to pay attention to the ultimate timing. Ah, that sucks. Okay. Could you have done anything to better position? I would have actually said try and get Reaper off top end instead of going this way. Go around, take a little bit more time, let the team... Because you're not pushing in. None of you are sacrificing your positioning, thus, if any of you dies, it's inconsequential. It's just a matter of if, not when. But... when, not if. But by diving in, you're now into the team fight. You could have gone this way, is what I would have thought better. Because you saw it earlier that Reaper was the one who pushed you back. That even if you don't eliminate the Reaper, or even if he pushes you back again, you've taken him away from the choke point so that your team doesn't get ambushed if they make too close a push. And even if you aren't the one getting pushed back, you now push him back into the fight, and he can only defend up close. By diving in, you did take away attention from your team, because now you're in the back. And what does Moira do? Does she look for you? Yeah, she pretty much looks for you. Yeah, everybody just looks for you at that point. Yeah. I mean, thankfully your Lucio beats after, so this team fight is won on your end, but yeah. I honestly would have taken the top left and pushed Reaper down. Because even if he pushed you back, you take him away from it, and your team is still doing the press in that choke. It was very unlucky timing too, because the moment you use your blade, Lucio uses his beat. Like, you couldn't be more unlucky. Good at taking up high ground. He didn't last a second. My dude did not last a single second. He made it into there, shot one shot off, and got domed. Faster than you could say hippopotamus. But, if there's one benefit, you did indeed push Soldier off the high ground, so, you know, there's benefit to that. Good, taking high ground yet again. So you see, I'm a soldier main myself, and he's doing the right thing. The moment that you deflect, he runs, because he makes you burn your cooldown, and then he could re-engage. What would we would assume to be a safer engagement distance? How many more minutes left? 1 minute? So they'd probably catch this point right now, as I assume. I think you're gonna die, aren't you? First off, I never knew that that health pack was there. Good on you for escaping death, like, narrowly. Number two, good pressure and good recognition that you needed to get the hell out of Dodge. I can't.
Much
I'm on fire!
Yeah, they took the point. That's all you could do. That's all you can do. He activates visor, just activate your deflect. You just removed half his value because he had to stop firing for 2 seconds. You were the only one he could shoot. Hold the phone for like 2 seconds.
pass into the iris.
Unfortunate. In a minute and a half, your Lucio built up his ult. In a minute and a half, Lucio, one of the most difficult heroes to get ult value from, because his ult requirement is so high. In fact, that was less than a minute and a half. No, that was that was a minute and a half. I mean, don't get me wrong, it could have probably been a little faster, or maybe it's about the average, but you don't usually see a Lucio beat for like 2 to 3 minutes in like the lower ranks, so color me impressed that he got his ult literally within a minute and a half. Because it climbed pretty quickly. This probably... I'll let Budget be the one to share this detail. Wow. Wow. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. He ults a Grav and then gets eliminated within like a split second, bro. Bro. A gold Lucio that knows what he's doing. A gold Lucio that knows what he's doing and builds his ult quick? I'll give him that. that? I could play in these lobbies. Oh my lord. Good on the boostio, indeed. But what I'm more surprised about that just happened here is that there's a Lucio that did a beat, gained 750 barriers, and then immediately lost all of them within like a second of using it. Dude.
Fear the focused warrior.
No one can withstand me.
How big is your brain? Because Can I get a larger image, please? Please? Can I get a larger image, please? Where? There's unfortunately not even a bigger image. All of them are way too small. Ah, there we go. Really? Where's the view image tab? Open image in new tab. Is that it? Yep, there we go. So this is what I imagine your head looks like right about now. Take that as you will. Take that as you will. No, I want to discard the changes. Yeah, discard the changes. Yep. So yeah, we got that right there. The brain play is massive. Like, honestly, I was actually, like, blown away, the big brain. Like, you knew he was going to recall, and you're like, no, I'll just blade right here. Usually no candidate. Oh, rewind. What? Wait, what about Carl pregnant? What now? I'm not a fan of Jimmy Neutron. I watched that episode, though, which is why I brought it up. Oh, my God. Of course they go Symmetra. And of course Lucio just tries to survive, like they're gonna get the point. Alright. I have zero critique because I loved every second of that. It's actually good to get viewpoints from a higher rank than I've ever achieved. I actually played against some diamonds, but it wasn't a very enjoyable experience. But the only thing that I could offer from my perspective, you did pretty much everything right. I have, like, zero to add, other than you could stand to be a little bit more aggressive on off-angle pressure, because you're playing Genji. Playing with your team's not always a problem, but you have the capability above any other hero on the roster to put on off-angle pressure and then get back with your team. Even if you don't use your dash to engage, you could use it as a disengage tool too. And deal some damage along the way, let's just be honest. So, all in all, that's the only thing I could really say is, like, the problem with your positioning is, like, you could stand to be a little bit more a little bit more creative with your off-angle pressure, but honest to God, that was good. I got no complaints, and I got nothing but praise for that entire thing. But thank you for the opportunity to do that. That was fun. Man. All this time of reviewing Riot and Leonardo, the silver gameplay is my bottom line expectation. Oh my lord. No, not a problem. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity for that. I don't know what you mean by that, Riot. Let me go back on this real quick. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. So, Sam Simpson, let's see. This is where it was. For context, after Orisa did what they did, you'll know when you know. They started blaming us for not seeing it. I have no idea what that last abbreviation is. Everybody talking about that. It looks a little too uncoordinated. Yeah, it looks like it was a mixed lobby anyway, if this is an alt profile. So, unclear about that, the extent. Very well timed. As a Tracer main, I am in fear. The big brain sheen. Shoot. Aw, thank you, Slinger. I appreciate it. Let me see. Where's Discord? Here we go. Oh! A genuine buffoon. First off, wave high on that, and then give you a watch player. I might stop VOD reviewing after this one, just to give myself a break. But let's see. I'm playing McCree and Junkrat Horacio on PlayStation. I just noticed this. I threw a flash at the Sombra in one part of the clip, and it did not hinder her. I'll probably see that too, if you could give me a timestamp on that. Kept blaming us for the whole thing, kept calling me bad, and the F's... Oh. Yeah, Dang. So first off, the situation sucks. When you have a toxic player and it's like you're playing a player down, you may as well be playing 4v6 at that point because your teammate's just not doing anything to help you. But Diamond 5. Okay, so you're pretty much where I landed the last time, is like high plat, low diamond, so... let's get this one logged in. I did it again. I tried to import a code. Edit, there we go. Make sure I don't hit the wrong button this time. TD5, I think it was, yep, and 8WE.
Now traveling to Paris, ready for battle.
Let's see, a genuine buffoon is the Discord name, Sam Simpson is the YouTube name, and I don't see that name on either team, so I'm gonna need a little direction here, Sam. Which one are you? Mina. Okay, so you haven't picked yet. Okay, there we go.
Ready for battle.
Okay. No, it's all good. Yeah, I probably need to... In fact, you know what? Hold up like 2 seconds. Because I just did... First off, get it. Okay, no, I already did this VOD review, did this one, that's that. Okay, so no more pinned messages, good. I'm trying to clear up the VOD submission chat. If you want to have a discussion about the VODs, everyone, like, the only thing I would say is don't put, like, banter on the VOD submission side of things. Put them on the VOD chat side of things. Because if you put them in the VOD submission, then I can't find the codes easily. And it's a little hard to keep track of everything. So I just did Leonardo's. I'll have his going up soon. That one for random banter. I did this one, so it's good. I still didn't do riots, but I will soon. I might just need to clear the chat here because everybody's like bantering on about like stuff that had nothing to do. Yeah, this had everything literally had nothing to do with VOD chat. It all had to do with just talking about their settings and trying to get that. I ought to honestly just make a... No, hold on a minute. Yeah, keep that for a little bit later. Alright. So... This is my last VOD review for the night. Alright, so we're watching... Okay, let me just make sure I'm not missing details here. I literally clicked on Discord and it just didn't go up. VOD submission, here we go. So, Diamond 5. This is a full Diamond 5 lobby. I'll get that answer shortly, but playing McCree and Junkrat. Okay. This is obviously Paricio. This is on PlayStation. The Orisa kept blaming us for the whole thing and losing, and it looks like he ended up in a loss. McCree! Everybody calls him McCree. The real people call him McCree. I'm just kidding. I don't care if anybody calls him Cass, but let's be honest. Let's just be really honest with each other for 2 seconds. They changed his name because of a toxic workplace relating to stuff that I actually can't talk about, to swap it over to a literal porn star's name. Sorry, but it's true. You can't make up a greater joke than that. So stupid. Okay, I'm starting this recording over for the session, for the YouTube channel. I had to start over because this stuff was a little compromising for YouTube. I don't want that to show up. Yeah, he's always McCree. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, Nick Cassidy is a good middle ground if everybody doesn't have a problem with both names. So, getting back, I again had to start this over. So, this is a Diamond 5 lobby by the looks of it. And playing McCree and Junkrat on Paricio, as we can see, based on the wall in front of us. So Orisa was playing, really, keep notes. Orisa kept blaming you for the whole thing, calling everyone bad, being toxic, and it's basically a 4v6. That's the finer details of the match. Let's see if they're right. They're probably not. Let's be honest, though. When you have a toxic teammate, they're never right, regardless of who they're being toxic to. They may have some kind of a basis for it, but, yeah.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A. Initiating combat.
I've got men.
So now I can tell the difference between PC and console because this is a lot easier to keep up with. So you're actually doing really well right now as far as positioning. The only critique I would make for the beginning portion of this map, you would definitely benefit better to either be with your team on top of this high ground or take the off angle here with your life. That's Life Weaver, right? Yeah, Life Weaver. For two reasons. Number one, you have the range. Number two, being right here, what are you actually going to be able to get value from unless they pass the choke? So I'm not saying you have to be hyper aggressive, but you do need to consider, and this is something I cover, so it's not necessarily this circumstance, but if it does happen during the VOD, you'll know what I mean. What do you do between downtime? Do you stay in position? Do you wait for the team to come to you? What are you doing during the time that you're waiting? So we're right now at the beginning of the match. You had the 45 seconds to prepare, obviously, to walk from point to where you're going. So you can't always position as properly as you want. You're kind of in a rush, which is kind of like one of the things you need to, make more of a smooth habit, essentially. And essentially, positioning yourself properly before the start of anything, it's going to help you down the line. And this is not a bad position, it's just not as ideal as you could make it for McCree in getting your ideal value. Again, you have to wait for them to cross the choke and or push the top ground. So I would say next time try to either work with your team or come over to where your Life Weaver is. You'll have better angles right there and it would be easier. You actually gave me a reason right here. I wanted to make sure they didn't Sombra or Genji dash through and I can snipe them. Well, again, that would be actually a good thing for two reasons. Well, it looks like they actually have Genji. They have Genji and Sombra anyway. But the reason I mention, like, either be with your team or be here is because if Sombra and Genji do dash through your team, you're all together. He's wasting a resource to get in between and then just do the typical thing. Hopefully, you guys are all smart enough to just let him back out. He wasted 2 resources to do, what, nothing? You still have high ground. Then, if you're back here, if he wastes his resources to get back here, your team is in prime position to just turn around real quick. And you're with your Life Weaver. They have to pick one or the other, maybe not both. So you're next to your team, so... And again, you're in a prime vantage spot. If they press you, you can see them coming your direction, and you have cover. Another thing, too. Like, if you're here, you have slightly less cover, because where do you go if they come up? You could drop down, but then you're forced to go into this little hideaway here. You're forced to go back to point. You're forced to go up the stairs. You're forced to go this way. You're kind of in a bad spot. Where are you right here? You can go down, sure, you got the stairs, you could come right back up. Or, you can go into this room. And then you could go out here, back to point. Or you can go up here, back with your team. You have options. So the vantage point is very important. What do you do between team fights? This is not, again, bad positioning, but it's very limited, because now you have to wait for them to come to you, and what are you doing while waiting? So, how long is this match, by the way? 10 minutes? This will be fun. You know what's worse? I chipped my back tooth, and now I feel my tongue scraping it. So... Oh, there's the Sombra doing Sombra things. Good McDang grenade. Your Life Weaver's the MVP, just saving your mercy right there. So, I'm going to mention one very big issue. Why are you here? I'm not going to... how do I word this? I don't want to make it seem like I'm crapping on you, is kind of what I'm trying to avoid. But seriously think, for 2 seconds, why are you at where you're at right now? You wanted to go back to your team, is what I'm assuming, and I'll let you answer that. Heat of the moment, saw the Orisa. Okay, yeah. There are times to die on point, there are times to not die on point. When you pay attention, let's just use pro matches for example. When you notice that they usually say die on point, the reason that you die on point is because usually it's like you want to stall the clock for some kind of a comeback, if there is one possible. Like if there's an opportunity for a comeback, die on point, buy us time, die on point. And that eventually evolved into like a landslide of everybody abusing it like, oh, you just need to die on point. And, there's times you do that, there's times you don't. Like, if you're going to die, die anyway, but it doesn't matter. So, keeping the high ground. Let's hypothetically, like, I see that Sombra's right here. But hypothetically speaking, let's say that you didn't drop down from your position and you stayed up here. What are they forced to do? Sombra's forced to contest you and reveal her position, and or either get you, in which case you're back to square one, or you push her back, or you kill her. Even better. But you're now back here. They can't afford to push the point and not look behind them. Sigma might have to force his barrier on you to make sure that the back is covered, in which case, roll. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm now able to just shoot their entire back line. They think they're so smart, but all I do is roll and I get to get out of the range of barrier. I'm not, by the way, mocking you. I'm doing this in general on their part. Small bread. Could have done a lot getting this point today. Yeah, I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm mocking you. So, I will quickly emphasize this, and I will emphasize this in future VODs. If it ever sounds like I'm being condescending, or if I'm being like, why did you do this? I'm not being condescending, but I do want you to think. And it's working wonders for me. I hope it's working wonders for everybody, but if I point out a critique like, why are you positioned where you are? Not condescending, but think. Literally, why did you make the decision you did? So, this isn't baffling. It's just more like you had your options, and like you said, it was heat of the moment, so it's kind of like the better way I could articulate this is the way that Spilo basically said it. Your goal is to reduce the amount of mistakes you make and force the amount of mistakes your enemies make. So when you want to train yourself to think in the heat of the moment, so that way you don't make those mistakes during the game. Like, you don't want to overthink, but you don't want to also dead brain the entire thing. So by taking the high ground here, in the heat of the moment, you just reduced mistakes because now you're in the right position and you could probably force out their Sombra from now doing what you're trying to do, because now she gets to run up here uncontested and shoot from the high ground while your team is basically going for the choke. Okay, so you're looking for DPS advice. Yeah, that's probably explaining a little bit. You're either exercising the tank or support, it doesn't really matter which, mentality of sticking with your team when things get hot, because that's the actual answer for both. You benefit from playing with your team because the supports rely on tanks to keep them protected, because their kits are made to enable your team and disable the enemy team, or to upkeep your team. Whereas tanks are made for the brawl. It's a match made in heaven. DPS can kind of survive a little bit on their own with certain extensive abilities, so you probably had that mentality right there. I wouldn't doubt it. I know I've had DPS mentality while playing support and tank when I do it, so I can be shot too. But when you're playing, like, just basically put, it's not that you need to divide from your team, you need to split off a bit. And being split off a bit, I don't mean like be away from your team completely, but by taking this high ground and pincering them, you have a means of helping yourself survive by getting out of the angle of crossfire, maneuvering around, maybe even jumping up here, and they're either forced to focus you or they're forced to focus your team. Which one's the bigger threat? So, unfortunately, that didn't obviously work out for you. I again have to apologize. I feel my tooth grinding against my tongue. It kind of hurts a little bit. Your Life Weaver is honestly a lifesaver, and that's not even a joke. Your Mercy goes for a res. She finishes the res and then gets pulled back out, thus keeping her alive, but it looks like it kind of failed this time because of the whole shooting at a distance thing. Oh no! He didn't he pulled the wrong one! He screwed your Mercy. Never mind! Never mind! Ah, boy. Dude. You have Symmetra now. So Symmetra's doing... Your Symmetra's doing a good thing. Doing what you could have done in that prior topic, prior area. She's splitting off on the Sigma. Honestly, I think that she should secure this hallway, although her teleporter's obviously in a good spot. Honestly, she's doing too bad, but I think that she could stand to not take the high ground and let you do that. Because you would benefit it a little bit better than her. No. Well, first off, I know which one you're talking about now. You saw... Bro!
Let's get the payload going.
Bro! It screwed you! Because it removed her from existence. Bro, it's a single frame. I actually feel bad. I actually feel bad.
Stick with it. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
First off, excellent job. He should be embarrassed. I actually felt great watching that. That's Sigma just... I ain't got ammo, but I got my fists. Yeah, no, they're just pushing through your team here. It was a wash.
Moira by your side.
Oh, is this the part? You said there was something. Hold on a minute. Kept blaming this for the whole thing. Kept calling you back. You did mention this prior. Did the moment happen already with the Okay, then okay, I was just about to ask about it. Yeah.
Heroes never die.
We're watching for Sombra, I see that.
Meet your fate.
Barrels are smoking.
Angel at your shoulder.
You did waste 2 ults to get that, but I'm not even going to complain. I don't think there's really much you can do in that situation but use your ults. I mean, let's be honest. They got 2 kills out of it.
Ice wall coming up.
Okay, good, good. Good shots.
Feeling the heat. Group up with me.
Bro.
Join me.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Okay, I'm not even going to lie. That's actually... That hurt my soul a little bit. Okay, so... This is an objective shooter. People need to remember that. It's a very important detail. You do not win by getting more eliminations, because you could theoretically get less eliminations. In fact, actually, I watched it earlier today that there was a team on OWCS that won with less eliminations than the other team. And half the in fact, actually, half the elims and half the damage they won. About half. About half. They won. You could theoretically have less eliminations and still win because you played the objective. Literally all of you, but 2, abandoned the point. And so Sombra, and it looks like Genji? Yeah, Sombra and Genji have a field day with your bat. Wait, is that Genji or is that Moira? It's Genji, and that's okay. Yeah, they just had a field day with this. Let me read what you mentioned. She pushes all the way up to first point spawn. Decided I didn't want her to die. I mean, this is a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation that you have to really weigh your options. She pushes all the way back to first point spawn. So now you must ask yourself the question, if your tank goes out of position, do you join your tank? And if so, when does the reasonable distance than which you follow them stop becoming reasonable? Because if they are about to cap the point, and she goes all the way to the front spawn, it's reasonable for, let's say, oh, I'll follow her maybe up to here, or I'll probably come up here so that I'm still within distance and I can overlook the point and give her some kind of support, or I can come over here for an off angle. Like, even that might be too far. But maybe just look for some high ground, come up here, and maybe take this high ground up here in this window. And that's as much as you follow her. To follow her all the way here is about a good 7 seconds distance that now you have to run back. So if she's going to die like an idiot, I hate to say this because yes, you need to work as a unit. Yes, you need to, stick with each other and not die needlessly. But if you're going to let one person die needlessly, let it be one person to die needlessly. All of you do not need to die needlessly. And by sticking with her all the way through, I get the mentality. I know it was a struggle. It's, again, a damned if you do, damned if you don't. That, again, yes, the healer mindset. You need to stick with your tank. And, again, DPS need to do the same thing. But DPS have different kits that are not made for the upkeep of a team, and thus you don't need to stick with them strictly in the sense of you need to support your team through a means in which you do not have. So again, when does reasonably following her, stop becoming reasonable? The moment she reaches that, it's already too far. But if you were to follow her to the crux right here and be like, hey, I'm going to take this high ground up here and then take this window to support her, I could come over here. And then the moment you notice you're back capping, roll back, you got immediately a view, and you can kind of like get back into point a lot easier, but now you're kind of all the way there. And that is an additional 7-second run, estimated, of course. It could be an extra 5 seconds, might be 3, but it's still time that you have to run back. And your tank, safe to say, is the reason why this back cap happened, but it's also not just her fault. It is technically the fault of anybody that followed her. Lesson to be learned: if your teammate's going to be an idiot, let them be an idiot. You cannot control the outcome of their decision making and what they do, if they want to be toxic, if they want to be a team player. Yeah, and again, it's a future. Again, the point of coaching is that you just think about these things. You have the benefit now of hindsight. You observe it. When I ask these questions again, what could you have done differently? It's not to berate you. It's to make you think. If this situation happens again, like you just said, lesson learned. You're now going to stick closer to cart, because playing cart is going to be the right decision to make. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to admit right now, your Orisa is the one who incited the direct incorrect play by pushing too far forward. That was just ridiculous. But again, you're not completely faultless yourself because you followed. So again, future lesson, obviously. Honestly, I kind of like personally myself, I'm paranoid to making major mistakes. So like, for instance, let me give an example. My paranoia falls into line of something like, if I deem it important enough, it requires my full attention and I'm dedicated to it. When it comes to this game, yes, the team play is important, winning team fights is important, getting elims is important, but so is playing the objective. If I'm not on the objective or near the objective or able to get to the objective in a quick amount of time, I'm badly positioned. And because I've rooted that in my mind as something that I need to address for myself, bam, it is now something I'm doing. So I'll give you a real world example now. I used to work Radio Shack. It's a sentence that creates 1,000 stories. So I used to work Radio Shack. We worked Black Friday. I liked working Radio Shack, but I didn't like the sales aspect of how they tried to push me for things I didn't like. But we were working Black Friday. Crux of literally everything that I like and hate. I had a long shift for the first time ever. I was new to it. And I fell asleep. I don't know for how long specifically. It might have been a split second. Might have actually been for 10 seconds. Might have been for 20. I don't know. I fell asleep in the back. My coworker came and woke me up, and I'm like, was I asleep? And he's like, yep, you were. I'm getting up. And now I was super paranoid and never fell asleep for the rest of the shift. So now you have this rooted in your mind of paranoia, oh, this happened in the most extreme circumstance. I can't let it happen again. It happens to pro players too. Why they still allow back caps in higher ranks, I guess they're just so hyper-focused on trying to win team fights and everything that it's team fights equal wins. I don't know their mental state. I don't know their mental thought process. Whatever it is. Oh, no. You're not being defensive at all. Yeah, no, I want you to share it. This is the only way I can help you, and this is the only way I can give you a different perspective. Again, I'm not trying to berate you. I want you to actually take what I'm saying and don't see it as criticism or critique. See it as I'm offering you the time and benefit of hindsight. What could you have done differently? Because if you could think, then you'd implement it next match. And if not next match, the next match after that. You just keep running it through your process. I don't know what your Mercy's doing, but I'll go back into the beginning of what I said at the start. What do you do between team fights? And what should you be doing between team fights is a kind of a better question. So, being right back here, you're not in a prime position to do much. Truth be told, there really is no good position at the minute because your team's not pushed with you. So taking advantageous high ground over here is not recommended because you're just going to run into the enemy team by yourself, essentially. Versus if your team's not doing it, take the next best high position right here, force the resources to come get you. I host VOD reviews. I try to do it as often as possible, but I've also been sacrificing a lot of playtime to do that. I'm still trying to find a balance. But I'm going to do another VOD review on Monday. I'm going to take it slow. I talked about it earlier as to the reasons why. I'll talk about it after I'm done recording. But, yeah. What do you do between team fights? Take advantageous positioning. You can't go forward because your team's not going forward with you. So, if your team's not going with you, do yourself the favor and position properly and get up to a good spot. Yeah, your team... It doesn't look like your Orissa's the only one throwing. I have no idea what's happening with your support line, but both of them went AFK.
Freeze! Don't move!
No time to waste.
I guess you're all just typing in chat or something.
Apagando las luces.
Yeah, they went back. Nobody's going to contest on that.
Is approaching its destination.
Das Universum singt vor mir!
Meet your fate.
Round one.
And here's the Junkrat. So, before I even continue on this needs to be its own dedicated video. I think I've already talked about it before. But the illusion of control, even if we don't realize it, is extremely strong in a lot of areas of our life. We want to be able to control everything. We want it to go our way. We want it to go perfect. But here's the issue. You have an Orisa that's being toxic. You have an Orisa that's doing really bad things, and look at what it's cascading into. It's cascading into everybody stopping in the middle of the play floor in the team fight to text in their chat and say, hey, Orisa, you're being a jerk. And then it's just a round and round and round and round cycle of toxic chat back and forth. By letting go of the illusion of control, you cannot control the toxicity of your teammates. You cannot control their positioning. You cannot control their decision making. You cannot control the hero that they pick. You can ask, you can work, you can coordinate, you can work with each other. But if you are unable to, then the only real answer to that is in the form of a question: how do you respond? So you just said 2 seconds ago, and again, this is to get you to think, you decided before round 2 that you lost. So there have been instances of like one-sided matchups swinging in reverse and showing basically that even in the most dire of circumstances, there's always a way. And even still, if there is a possibility for victory, you should be taking every opportunity that you can get. So, But by that sentence alone, it determines the mindset that you had. Yeah, so, but this is the power of the subconscious that a lot of people don't realize, and I've been learning this myself. And again, I hope that this was like your third loss at 1-8. Yeah, so, but here's a subconscious thought. The moment that you verbally or thought in your inner voice, in your thought process, think we've lost, you've lost at that moment. It's not that you should be thinking, we lost, there's nothing I could do. In fact, actually, do I have that note right here somewhere? I do. So I have 2 notes that I had on my screen at some point. So when you're in a loss, or when you're in a situation that you feel like you can't do anymore, it's like, my toxic teammate, we're just getting wiped after wipe. We can't win a single team fight. They keep team killing us. We keep hearing the horn and team kill, and it's like, we can't do anything. Your mindset shouldn't be, are you doing your best? Your mindset, the question on your mind shouldn't, not the mindset, excuse me. The question on your mind is, are you doing your best? Your question should be, am I doing what it takes? And the reason that you flip that switch is because when you think, am I doing my best, you immediately set yourself a limit. That your ceiling is the 100% no matter where you set that bar. In your mind, when you say, I'm doing my best, your best is a bar. And if you do your best, and if you're doing your best, that's the bar you hit. Whereas, am I doing what it takes? You've opened up the bar to literally be anywhere, but it's unknown. And because it's unknown, the bar becomes the circumstance that you're facing. So now, again, I ask you, are you doing your best or are you doing what it takes? So if you can, and this is where you have to be honest with yourself, if you are doing what it takes to win, you're making the hero swaps, you're playing your hero, you're counter swapping, don't pay attention to your teammates and what they do. If they're doing their job, great. If they're not doing their job, great. What are you doing? The question to yourself, am I doing what it takes? If in good consciousness, you can tell yourself, in good conscience, if in good conscience you could look at yourself and say, I am doing what it takes, and then in response to that question, excellent. Let it be what it is. Because guess what? Next match you play, you'll be fine. Just let it happen. If you're playing to improve, that's the best mindset to have. You'll climb. You'll win the next one, or maybe the next one, or maybe the next one after that. Who knows? Now you're being honest with yourself. You recognize when you start to fall apart. This comes into the point of, as Mr. Spiegel said, whatever happens, happens. Okay. But that's also a good mindset to have, because you're now satisfied with the outcome no matter what. It's kind of like tricking your brain into thinking more positively so that you don't tilt. If you reduce your tilt, you realize that you feel better no matter if you win or lose, and that when the wins happen, it's a great feeling. And when you lose, you don't lose that great feeling. You're tricking your brain into kind of doing these things. Ask yourself the right questions, respond the right way. So when you're having this moment of a toxic teammate throwing your match and it's like, I can't do more, don't let that be I'm doing my best and I can't overcome this obstacle. It's, you're doing what it takes, you're doing your job. That's all you can do. And guess what? The next match, you're most likely not going to have them. Go ahead and block them, if that makes you feel better. But you're never always going to have that. Yes, you'll have a toxic teammate every once in a while. You might have it every match at your worst. But you're not going to have it the lifetime you play the game. So why are you going to let the one game where you get a toxic teammate that threw your one match affect the rest of your gameplay? Hey, This is the benefit of hindsight. So now you're recognizing, hey, maybe Sombra could have worked. So next time you run into a situation like this, where that's the team that you're facing up against, okay, maybe I'll do something different. You have the benefit of hindsight. That's the purpose of VOD reviews. Now you look at it and you learn from it. You learn what might work better in different situations. I was about to say situations. Excuse me. But yeah, let's continue. Let's finish this match. How many minutes do you have? 4 minutes?
Defend objective A.
Oh my god, it's the 4 minutes. You don't even go overtime. Oh, wow. Yeah. Good thing you dodged the rock. I see what you were trying to do. Sombra just got wrecked. I mean, just to pause here for a second, that's where the team engagement is. What the Baptiste and the Genji are doing getting on the bus is probably what you should have done, because now you can bypass his shield. Unless he shields you, then you just go back down, and if he brings it back down, you go back up. You have that vertical mobility. I would be utilizing it a little bit more. Yeah, this is a tough situation. The discombobulation of your team, and yes, that is actually the right word for it. Oh my goodness. The discombobulation of your team and its communication, you guys are just beating your heads against a brick wall. And the brick wall being the enemy team. Yeah. There's really nothing you could do there. There's nothing you could do. Like, you could have taken the high ground. It might have benefited your team, but... I will address this because I addressed it earlier with Leonardo's clip. Leonardo being another viewer that gives me a bunch of these VODs. But I did notice something. You're doing the same thing he did with Widowmaker. You're using your concussion mines to get leverage. You're using it to get advantageous positioning. Now, normally I would do the same thing, but I try to strategically spread them out so I still have something in my pocket. You used both, and this is how far you're out of the spawn. I mean, I don't know if you're actually trying to go for the top of the building. If you were, then that might be one thing, but now you learn that you can't go up there. You kind of did the same thing he did, and he would use his grappling hook on Widow to get out of spawn a little bit late, and now he doesn't have a cooldown. And then we look at you, and you have 3 seconds until your next mine. Yeah, Lob. That's pretty much what every Junkrat does anyway. But you're not fair. Because you're not going to be able to maintain vertical mobility, you're going to fall. So when you gain that advantageous angle, you're going to lose it very quickly. So what you should be doing, and I make this mistake because I'm not a Junkrat player, but I know I've done it myself, so you're not alone on this. What you should be doing is looking for the opportunity to jump and get that vertical mobility, and then keep a vertical angle. So when you came over here the first time, or like I was saying, go between the bus and going down. Even if it wasn't much more vertical mobility, it was still something. And then even still further, with the enemy team on the floor and your team still pushing, you might have even been able to take here and just get them from the back, splitting their attention once again. So vertical mobility is not the issue, and the lobs from the sky, also good, but it's kind of thinking one step beyond what you're doing. So now you have no mines, now you're just beating your head against the wall yet again. I can see trying to cause a little bit of confusion could be something too, but yeah, that's not doing anything to break their resolve. They know they got this one.
My apologies.
Flats. I'll talk about him after the VOD review. We'll just have random banter. I'm not fried as of yet, but the VOD review is definitely something I'm going to need a break from after this. Oh, they have their own Junkrat. Good elimination. It was a risk. Ah, you went into his trap too. Ah, that's what happened. Okay. Unfortunate, but it happens. But guess what? You have ult advantage and spawn advantage. Don't use it here, please. Don't use it here. Don't use it here. Are you gonna use it here? Please tell me you don't use it here. Ah. Well, going back, if we examine what happened, you went up and you got the elimination, and then you went backward. I don't know if you were forced backward, pulled backward, or if you went backward of your own accord. I would have pushed forward. I mean, either way, it looks like they're coming your direction, so I don't think that it was anything that you could do to control that. But in pushing forward, you're now in the crevice, forcing them to either push forward to come get you and rotate along with you. Okay, the Moira pushed you back. Okay, so that's not your issue. However, I will duly note, I just saw this. You're standing still in lobby. Oh, okay, so you went back of your own accord because Moira showed up. Yeah, that's what I would have said about pushing forward, because you would have just been behind a wall. What was she going to be able to do? Push forward on you? You could burst her down pretty quickly. Ah, okay. That explains a lot.
They outnumber us. Careful.
You know, this is coming from a former troll, because I like to be passive-aggressive and goat people on from time to time just for fun. Don't troll a troll. And in fact, don't even fuel the troll by responding. If he's being toxic, let him be toxic. Report him after the match. Do what you need to. Don't respond. Future lesson for you. It's a waste of your time. He's not going to learn a lesson from it. You're not going to gain anything from it. It's not worth your peace. If someone's honestly hard trolling you, hard, like, slurring, I don't know. The point is just don't do it. Just don't do it. Because look at what it's doing to your gameplay, too. Ah. Yeah, that doesn't help. And now they all have their ults, but I don't think that they need to use them at this point. None of you have made it outside of spawn door very far. Yeah.
Heroes never die.
Yeah, it's quite obvious at this moment that the Orisa basically dissolved the entire framework of your team. Like, there was just no way any of you were going to be coordinated enough to even do more. All Orisa could do is type. And then she dies. Yeah, at this point, your mentality should be, it's a lost match. Okay, I'll go next time. Again, this one you mentioned the timing was like 1 a.m., your third lost match, so at that point, I would have just been done and been like, yeah, that's my last match. I'm not doing anything more for today. Don't let it end your frustration. Don't rage or anything, obviously. I wouldn't, again, go to Dawn. I would have just let her continue typing and then It's basically more evidence for this. If you didn't report the Orisa, do that now. But I don't have the comms, so I wouldn't know. I would report her for you too if I could. But I might be able to. I'll look that up. I'll see what I can do. But in any case, at this point, your mental state shouldn't be like, oh, I can't do anymore. Your mental state should be, okay, this is a lost match. Okay, this is a lost match. I'll just get it next time.
Enemy in my sights.
And now they're spawn camping, you can't get out, no one's doing anything. Yeah, there it is. I didn't even realize there was only like 3 seconds left. I thought I had like another 10. So yeah. As far as critiques go, you weren't doing too bad with your aim. You weren't doing too bad with your responses. I don't rage at this game anymore because it's such a waste of energy. True, that too. I was just more wowed. Oh my lord! Wait, you had them? You had them specifically for 3 games in a row, or just that you were paired with bad teammates 3 times in a row? Just to make sure I understand that correctly. Okay. I was about to say, if you were paired with them 3 times in a row, I think I found your defining factor as to why Orisa's blaming you. Okay, let's put all jokes aside for a second. So, critique of it, you were very good with your reaction, your game sense, your awareness. You were doing really good looking behind you for Sombra, so you were keeping good track. Your aim looked pretty good to me, so no issues there. But I will say, on top of avoiding back and forth trolling, do yourself the favor of trying to look for more advantageous positioning. And on top of looking for more advantageous positioning, look to what you can do between team fights. Those would be the 2 things I'd recommend you try to look at improving. Like, when you have downtime between a team fight, like you get a team wipe on the enemy. Okay, what am I going to do right now? Where am I going to position myself right now? Get into there. Even if you just barely make it, or if you make it late, do it. I'll catch up on the comments in a section, but that's pretty much it. Try to look for more advantageous positioning, and I think you'll do fine. Honestly, you didn't look too shabby, but it's, a learning curve for a lot of different things. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh my god, you did not end on an L. So is it like about three losses from that point that you're like, I'm not ending on an L, and then you just go down to like 20 losses before you get the 1 win? Ah, there it is. Okay. That sounds like fun. Give me like 2 seconds. I need to actually stretch and rest my tongue. It's grinding against my tooth, like I just said. It doesn't hurt, but it's like that nagging feeling, that irritated feeling. Yeah, I'm not gone yet. I'm not going anywhere, so I just need a short break and to talk. I'm done with the VOD reviews too. I'm gonna probably play something different, or I'll just play versus AI. I don't know what will entertain all of you. Oh god. Oh, that was a shoulder. Yeah, I'm not gone. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, let's get the back on this one. Oh, I can't get the back. The things you guys can't see off camera. Ooh. Whatever it is you guys think is going on is not actually going on. Okay. I'm gonna get myself more water real quick, actually. Okay, that's why you said. Okay. All right, so I'll see you around at some point, Slinger. Next week I'll be doing more coaching when you get me that code. Yeah, let me go grab some more water real quick. I'll be right back. I'm not stopping stream or anything. Last water in the bunch, so. What I really need is a snack, but I got nowhere to go close enough that I could do it. Technically I do, but it's also 12 o'clock at night, so. Wait, are you leaving too? Oh, okay, yeah, Riot's going too along with Slinger. Okay. So if both of you are not already here, I can tell I lost 2 viewers. It might be them. Have a good night, both of you. So to the viewer left over. Oh, you were just saying bye to him. Wait, who's going to bed then? Yeah, okay, so you are going. Okay, good night, Slinger. Wait, then who's the other viewer? It can't be me. What is going on right now? I don't know who's staying. Who's staying and who's going? It's high noon. Actually, it's 4:30. Rages in Cowboy. Yeah, I need that mental capacity lightened for a second. Give me a second. I actually have to look at something. It's 6:30. So, I'll let you guys continue your conversation, but I was just checking my tongue real quick. So, like I said, I cracked my tooth, my molar. It already had a filling from years back. And it's cracking now, so I probably have to get it removed in the future as long as it's not causing me pain. I'll have to let that last a little longer. But I think that corner of the tooth kind of pierced into my tongue, and that's what's bothering me. So I'm going to have to give a little time. Oh, shoot. No, I'm glad. I want to make this a point real quick. Do you guys, if you know the email that you use with your Blizzard account, check your emails. Because Blizzard announced, or not announced, but they sent out emails for feedback. And they basically announced that, well, why do I keep saying announced? They asked a lot of good questions in this feedback. Like, the email was asking some really decent questions. And they were asking about your opinions on the game, your thought processes on the season, concerns that you had, frustrations. They were asking a whole bunch of good questions that actually made it seem like they did more than surface level care. If you guys haven't already, check your emails. Well, this would be more than just a weekly report. So if you have your email and you got an email from them recently, check it to see if it's like one of their surveys. Because this isn't just like the Google Form surveys. This is the actual Blizzard website survey. So it actually goes directly to them. And they asked really in-depth, intricate, and no bullshit questions. And I actually can't talk about it to the extent and finer detail of what they asked. I could just generalize it, but they were asking really good questions that make me believe. Because at first because I had the thought process that they don't listen very often, but this made me actually feel like they were listening. Because you can actually input some of your answers verbatim too, and be, because what are some of your, I will address this one because this is like a universal question that almost anybody could ask. What are some of your frustrations with the game? Oh, I input my frustrations. What, or they ask you to rate something. Why did you rate it as high or low as you did? Like, what's the thing that's making you happy or unhappy with X subject? And they would put a little field where you could actually explain it. Most questionnaires don't do that. Most surveys don't do that. They allow you to make some select choice questions. Excuse me, but they don't actually go more in depth and commonly any further than mostly agree, don't really agree, so on and so forth. So, I would just suggest you guys take a look and see if the survey is there for you. I would take it. The more data they have, because here's the thing. It might have been a week ago. It might have come late to me then. If you had it a week ago, it might have been... Yeah, we can't really talk about the details of it. But I was able... Yeah, it is possible. Whatever email you signed on with your battle.net, that's the email that it will send it to. And again, I can't go over the details of that because they don't want me to share it. They don't want any player to share it. But if you've taken it, then you already know. So you can kind of figure what I'm trying to get at when I hint at stuff. But they were asking about frustrations in general. And they had their own sub-list of stuff as well. Again, I can't talk about. But, for the fact that they're asking about the frustrations we're going through, this is not just a generalized survey. This is actually asking real questions to the player base like, hey, instead of just putting the usual slew of pre-generated questions of like, oh, do you mostly agree? Do you kind of agree? Do you neither agree nor disagree? Do you strongly disagree? About one set thing, they're actually making that list still, but they expanded the list to multiple points, so it's not just about one specific topic in a row. It's one topic, two topic, three topic, four topic, And maybe they'll rinse and repeat on a different portion of a topic, but they'll move on to another topic after that, so it's never really the same thing, even if the overall theme is like around, say, Season 9 or one of the events they got going on. So, and again, if you fill out a negative review on one of those things, like, oh, I strongly disagree, why was your answer like that? And then you could actually input your answer instead of just, filling in accordingly. So it's like, that made me, first off, think that they were actually listening for once, and it made me feel like they were actually listening for once. And I don't want to ever put out a video or anything like, trash talks Team 4. I do think devs should take responsibility for the things that they fail at, but I also understand that they're not the sole reason as to the failures of the game. That came from a more corporate thing. And I love this game enough where I'm willing to at least point out, like, hey, Team 4, like, you guys are being transparent. That's a good thing. But I've been alluded to before, you got to take an extra step. I'm willing to do that. Like, there needs to be better communication with the player base because there's a lot of good ideas that are out there. I don't think that they should listen to everything. But the fact that they're willing to put out a survey that's a lot more in-depth than anything they've put out before, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. Flats just posted a video too, which is hilarious. I don't know why it notified me. Let me see. Oh, I can't do it from here, can I? I can do it from here, though. So let's... The cut on my tongue just kills me.
The police were waiting for her to come out of the bathroom.
Okay. I just clicked on the Shorts tab, and that's the first thing that pops up. Nobody's saying.
Hi.
No
The police were waiting for her to come out of the bathroom.
Okay, here we are. Everyone called me a boomer, and here we go. Yeah, that's another... Oh, my lord, I actually have to make this video. They canceled
Hi. The police were waiting for her to come out of the bathroom.
I can't go into details because I don't know much. But essentially, the PvE game modes are being canned. Which is sad. I wish that they didn't have to.
The police were waiting for her to come out of the
They're
bathroom.
no longer working on the progression of the story. They're going to focus on PvP. But that kind of can happen when you can most of the PvE devs. The ones focusing on it. So
The police were waiting for her to come out of the bathroom.
I mean, I'm not going to say I played PvE a lot, but if they were going to continue the story, I would absolutely pay money to play them.
The police were waiting for her to come out of the bathroom.
I'm starting to lose my mind here. But, yeah, point being, that's going to be its own video. I don't think that.
The police were waiting for her to come out of the bathroom.
Live audio. It was still playing the short. Thank you for pointing that out. I swear it's going to audio strike me for using someone else's comment, and I have to mute that entire section. No. So what I did, I went to the YouTube tab, I clicked on Shorts, it played a short, I switched off the tab, and it kept playing the video even though the video wasn't up. So, Daily Dose of Internet, they waited for her to get out of the bathroom. That is never a good way to start a story. Lord. I actually heard that video like a week ago, so it's not new to me, but what the heck. I don't care, I don't know. Oh my god, I'm sorry! Freaking Daily Dose of Internet. So I guess that's 3 minutes of my stream that's gonna get struck. Son of a gun. You know, it doesn't really matter. I don't anticipate anybody. Is that you, Sage? Okay, first off, I'm tired of Discord's... have to get rid of that. Hold on a second. Where's the... Where are you? Streamer mode. We are going to disable streamer mode. Don't automatically. Yeah, that'll actually do for now. Yeah, it's kind of stupid because I had it turned off and yet it still blanked out your name. Still haven't done riots. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to keep his pinned for now. And then we're going to pin this guy right here. I'm done reviewing VODs for the night, unfortunately. I'm going to wait till Monday. I got to do one for Slinger on Monday, and I got to do yours, and I apparently got to do Riots. I hope nobody else submits anything. If I keep having too many, I might not ever play again, but... Oh, no, you weren't here, Sage. It's kind of good. Kind of a good thing. Wait, maybe you were. I'm going to assume that you weren't, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. So I might have a slower week next week compared to what I normally do. Yeah, so within the last actually 24 hours, still ironically enough, it's like an hour and a half to go. But last night at about 1:30 in the morning, like 1:23, 1:27, my mom, who we live in Texas, has been in Florida because my grandma's health had been ailing. My grandma, unfortunately, passed away. So I've already had my moment of grieving. That's why I'm a little bit more happy right now, especially since I've been streaming and having a good time. I've had my moment to grieve, so I'm feeling a lot better. Yeah. So I appreciate that, though, Sage. Again, this is why I'm trying to mention it real quick. Slinger just played a warm-up match. Oh, my lord. I thought you said you were going to bed. Either that or it was Riot. But yeah, no, my grandma passed within the last 24 hours, so I'm slowing down. Not the content itself. I'm still probably going to do it so I can take my mind off it during the week, but I'm going to be shortening like the strenuous play, so I won't be doing competitive. I won't be doing quick play. If I play Overwatch, it's going to be to do a VOD review or to do versus AI because that I can turn my brain off. If I don't play Overwatch, then I play something like Night Watchman, as you've seen. I could play Fortnite, but my brother's a little bit competitive on that, so I may have to actually limit that. My hair was in my mouth. What the heck? I could do Dark Souls 2. I have Spyro. I haven't actually played that on stream, but that's definitely something I cannot turn my brain off on. Like, I unfortunately need it. There we go, Sam. I figure people are going to be going to bed in just a little bit, so thank you for sticking around. Thank you for letting me review your VOD, and hopefully I'll have something for you in the future, but I will see you guys. I will see you Monday. Are you leaving too, Sage? Like going to bed? Okay, good. How do you save a VOD? So you go into your career profile, you head on over to the history tab, you go to replays, and then hover over the one that you want to save, and there'll be the option to share on the back button, and it creates a replay link code. So I just did that for my match right now. And that is how you save it. It'll give you the code, and then in my Discord, like I mentioned, you put in the code and you format it the way that the top says, and we're good. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do now. I have to wake up at 5, so I might actually need to cut the stream short in like 2 seconds. Shoot, no, I do need to go to bed, actually. How long have I been streaming anyway? 3.5 hours? I don't want to, but I have to be at my job at 5 and work for 12 hours. Thankfully, I finally got a shift after a week of doing basically nothing for security. This sucks. I thought I had a little bit more time, but I actually lost track of how many hours I'm going to sleep. Yeah, it's going to be like a 4-hour night. I'm going to... Shit. Coffee and energy drinks are the word. Oh, did you not hear Slime? I did mention it. If you want to go back on the stream, you can actually find it, like, literally within 5 minutes. No, I can just redo it real quick. So go to career profile and go to history. It'll say, like, overview, progression, statistics, history, customization. Go under history. Go on down with your trigger down to replays. And hover over the match that you want to do. Use the directional pad for ease. And on the back button, it'll ask you to share, and that would be to create. And when you hit the button on the one that you want to save, it'll create the code automatically, and then you just format it in Discord appropriately. Yeah, no, you're all good. I don't mind helping that out. That is fun. No problem. How many subs do I have right now? I am 16 subscribers away from 500. I am so close. It's killing me. It's killing me, precious. Oh my god. 16 subscribers. Ah! Yeah, I do a good Smeagol. Anyway, yeah, no, I actually do think I need to go. I need whatever sleep I can get, and I have yet to be tardy with my job, and I don't need to be tardy now. So anyway, I'm sorry if I honestly wanted to stay longer. I just really lost track of everything, so that's on my bad. What's left of it? Oh, I'll have a good sleep. I just need to set my alarms, too. I hope I sleep in general. Oh, here's one thing. My wife and my daughter are currently out of the house, so I'm sleeping in here alone. I can do that. I can sleep in silence, but it's kind of hard to sleep when I don't have my wife to cuddle, so... That's a fun fact, but, yeah. At least I have the house to myself, and I can, like, pretty much do whatever I want without having to worry about waking up my daughter or anything, so... Alright, I'm going to cut the stream here, and I've already mentioned I might convince the wife for tomorrow, but the chances are so slim that I'm probably not going to be able to convince her. I need to spend some time with the family, so I will definitely see you guys Monday. Maybe not see you tomorrow, but definitely not Sunday, so... Yeah, I'm just going to sit in my car for 12 hours straight tomorrow with work, so I'm just going to get ahead on sleep and energy drinks galore. I have an experimental one, so that ought to be fun. Yeah, that's kind of how I structure my week. 5 days is for streaming, and I still spend time with my family, but the weekends are them and them alone, because that's healthy. And then my dark weeks are consisted of still spending time with family and doing Bible research. That's been fun, so... Alright, I'm actually going to go right now, because if I keep going and ranting, it's just going to keep going. So, have a good night, Sage. Have a good night, Slinger. And if Sam already left, then I know good night. But good night to everybody. Thank you for all of you guys that subscribed. And I will see you Monday with more VOD reviews, because it's going to help me to kind of keep things casual. Have a good night.